Hello, and welcome to the third ever Dunsparce Drampa Talkback. We're doing episode 3. It's called The Mining, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. As of right now, it's just me, DM Rich. We'll see if other folks join the call. Either way, I'm happy to provide talkback and commentary for this. And we haven't done it in a while. We've been busy getting ready for the end of the campaign itself. So, and by we, I mean I've been doing a lot of prep. So we haven't done this in a while, so I don't know if the volume's at a good point. I think I'm gonna turn it down a little bit, but that is to say, I think y'all should be watching instead of listening to this anyway, even though the captions are auto-generated and they don't do perfect. They do help a lot because we're going to be talking over it, and it's hard to listen to two things at once. That being said, it's just me, so there might be less less talking happening, but we'll see if anyone joins. But for now, let's just let past me narrate for a bit.
The sky is gradually tinting orange as the sun begins its descent down the horizon. Locals and travelers are scooting about, wrapping up their errands and checking in with friends and family. So as you arrived, or I suppose as you're exiting the Pokemon Center, Sam kind of gestures. She's like, well, we got some time on our hands.
Kind of gestures is a classic Rich moment.
Which is directly pretty much south from where you are. There's a
funny stat about this episode. Obviously, the most listened to episode is episode 1. That's just without a doubt, which makes sense. That's how you'd want it to be. You'd think episode 2 is the second most, but it's actually this one. It's actually the third one. That is the second most listened to, and I don't really know why. The best guess I have is because the title is stupid. It's like so goofy that people have to listen to it. Where the second one is Fast Friends. The idea with that was, one, they became friends with Sam pretty quickly, but two, Sneasel is like a notoriously fast Pokemon, or at least it was when I was young, so I wanted to name the episode that. This one I named that because it just felt too good to be true that this episode featured a Minun, a witch, and a wardrobe in the sense that the Paco went clothing shopping, so pretty funny.
Ooh, where are we?
Oh, welcome. We're listening to the start of episode 3. This is just the exposition. You haven't missed anything like at all.
Wonderful.
I was just discussing the fact that episode 1 is the most listened to episode, which makes sense, and I wouldn't have it any other way. But episode 2 is not the second most listened to. Episode 3 is. And I was explaining that the only lead I have on for why that might be is because how dumb the title is. But I don't know if you have any theories about that.
Maybe. I don't know. That is a weird number. You figured it would like cascade off, but
yeah. No, there's a dip on episode 2, and then it jumps back at episode 3. It's like, huh? I don't know. Maybe there'll be some insight.
They tend to study Pokemon and their techniques.
I think this is the exposition to the Rite of Learning happening, which was lifted straight from Boarding Party, and their game that takes place in the Laris region. It's all homebrewed stuff. Props to Drew, the DM, for all that work. Not something I wanted to do going into this, just I didn't feel like I had the time. But that's super cool when you can pull that off. And yeah, I looked at a lot of stuff, especially early from Boarding Party, and so I thought the idea of an institution where like there are researchers that are dedicated to like making Pokemon stronger and cooler was just, I don't know, it was just a cool idea. Felt easy to implement, and an easy way to like schedule like non-level up bonuses into the map, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think that's the big ticket with like some of these, especially like Pokemon-oriented RPG style stuff like this. It's really difficult to like feel like you can draw power into your character because your character is so like intrinsically powered by other things that it like makes it a lot more difficult unless you have these like systems, like these little checkpoints, like the Rite of Learning to like help us bolster and catch things up. Because like, I don't know, people have played the regular Pokemon games and you can definitely feel like, I mean, everyone's first playthrough usually is like, my starter is way overpowered and everything falls behind. And it's like, it's so easy for even in this system to have that like happen within your party itself. And that's kind of obnoxious.
Yeah.
But there was a good solution to the problem.
Yeah, I think it worked out. I think Drew knew what he was doing, and I think it really elegantly transferred over to our game as well. Something to consider with combining Pokemon TTRPGs is that defeated Pokemon don't drop loot, right? In fact, they drop experience, which we're using milestones for, so they effectively do nothing. So you have to really plan rewards for the players that are not intrinsic to the battles that they've won.
Now that the pack has been established, Schmidt's like, This is our theme
Yeah, like
song,
there's like
and,
limited
now
amount of
there's
loot
some
like that we could get like held
notifications
items
from,
and
like,
stuff, which was
your
kind of
Motley
cool,
Crew,
but like
you know?
definitely
It's
was
just,
very
that sounds
limited
like
in
a
terms of
really
like
good
keeping it true to
idea.
Pokemon at the same time.
Only
Yeah.
be gone for a day,
You
but
could
I'm
just like
sure you're
strap
happy
your
to know
Pokemon with
tomorrow
like
maybe
gear and
heard
you're
all
like,
the
yeah,
news
let's
that there's been
go.
some
Like
sort of
it's like,
event
nah, you
Right.
get one thing at a time.
You
Like
all approach
Right.
the Fortress City Postal Service. Big glass doors slide
Oh,
open,
they're at the postal service
and it
first.
seems like
Right. I
there's
forgot
no
that some
people
letters got
Mm.
sent out.
There's just birds. Just a
Um,
whole bunch of
this
birds. There's some
postal service
shelving
was one
with
of the
envelopes and stationery and
earliest
packages,
planted seeds for
and at the
foreshadowing,
desk, there
which
is
didn't get
a
picked up
single
until
Murkrow
episode 60 or
wearing a little hat.
70 or so, I believe.
Murkrow's
Oh,
not
yeah.
wearing a hat, of course, but it has, like,
Which
an
was
extra hat on
the
its hat.
not this episode itself, but the letter that Gimli or that
It's a
Gimli
little
got
white belt
back
and a red hat.
was from Gemma was coded.
As you
yeah, it was
approach,
coded and
And
it was like, well,
at you.
It was like basically like help me, and you know, it's not like I led any hints to that or anything, but I thought there was a chance that maybe Gimli would look at it and be like, something's not right here. So kind of funny. Kind of funny. It wasn't a required thing to pick up on, but it's a fun thing that comes all the
no,
way back.
I will say early, I'm like, this reads as like a coded thing, but I was like, my character's too dumb that he
Yeah.
wouldn't even pick up on this at all
Fair enough.
until it was like pointed out to him. Like he hands it to his son. He's like, this seems really off. And it's like, oh, really? like, oh, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm a pretty simple guy, so my wife wouldn't be surprised if I did something. like-
Oh, we got
It's
the
like,
Glizzy.
oh,
What's up,
piece
Grace?
of paper,
Like
that's
Lizzie
fucking
entrance.
rope.
Gamers.
Oh, and Squids, hello.
Yeah.
I did already start, so we're live.
It's all good.
How
but,
could you?
we're
We're so live.
We're not that far in. I might as well pose the question to the two of you as well. We have talked about this briefly before, but the most listened to episode of the podcast was episode 1. The second most is not episode 2; it's episode 3, which is this one. Do you have any theories on why that is?
There's a little sign below that has a listing of
I
all the
don't know
prices,
in
and it
particular.
seems to be dependent
I think the
on
thumbnail
where
is kind of a
you're spending
banger.
it, how fast the service is.
Oh,
So the
mine
thumbnail
and-
title combo,
kind
the
Oh,
mine
yeah,
of the
yeah,
witch and the wardrobe.
Yeah. That's my theory as
I
well.
don't know why I get
Basic,
like if
domestic
you get them like
mail
recommended to
is
you like
$5,
episodes, it's always
and then it just
recommending
happens
episode
depending
1 then
on what you're
episode
doing.
3.
Weird.
Like every time I see it on my Spotify, it's like those 2 episodes.
It might even be the
Oh, it's just
autoplay on
constantly
YouTube or
recommending it.
something.
Wanted
Might be
Yeah.
1 to 3.
international delivery
YouTube
on
just doesn't know how to
parcel
count.
basic
Yeah, I
speed.
guess.
It is
Wondering about
$12
re-listens and stuff too, like how that.
Oh
does this
yeah.
stuff.
Does this one have like some lore bits in it that people come back to?
They re-listen to, which then bumps it up, which then increases the recommended from like 1 to then 3 instead of 2.
Yeah. Hi,
It'll
Melissa.
all be that. I don't know. Could be a lot
Fine.
of factors.
Yeah.
Tell
Hello.
your family to tell
Hello.
your boss.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, let's just.
So
make
we're at the post
most
office.
mileage out of this
I think
Yeah,
we
we're at the post
talked about
office.
going to the right of learning, but we
No,
decided to do
maybe
the
that's
post
what we'll
office
do. I'll
first.
send- I'll
I
send
wasn't
a
even sure how to
message
really
to
like
my family.
handle this with you guys. I just kind of let it rip. I was like, we'll see what happens with these letters.
I know you wanted to see if you could somehow call your
I-
mother.
I think it
Well,
worked out
if you
pretty
wanna write or
interestingly.
Send anything or any
Mm.
could be a character we haven't met yet, even if you want to write a letter to someone or just hold off.
Just hold off for now.
Are you doing anything while your new friends are writing their letters? Are you just kind of looking around? Or are you
Also, let it be known that this is still the Schmidt pack. The Quacko Packo has not been established yet.
The Schmidt
Mm.
pack.
Cool.
That's so funny that we were the Schmidt pack for a while.
Yeah. I don't know how long. It might even be this episode that it gets overhauled, but
Brilliant.
Classic.
we did open up where
Good shit.
Genius.
it was the Schmidt pack. So
Creative genius for sure.
Yeah, absolute.
So all of you write your letters. You seal them.
Quick,
you
team
all
name
sign the basic
turnaround.
kind of stuff, except for
yeah,
Cindy.
yeah. I
And
think
you guys are
the
under the
decentralization
Murkrow
of
pricing
power
is
in
like
the
a
name.
single, like, mail drop
Or I guess
system.
it's not even decentralization.
You
It's
might
just
want
assigned
to,
from
like,
the non-human, or
Shift.
from the human to the
Yeah.
non-human. Yeah, I think it was more favorable
Love
for
that. So,
everyone.
For Gimli, it says 12 Pokédollars.
There's a world where it
You
could have
pay
just
this
been
Murkrow the 12 Pokédollars.
Absolutely.
the Schmidt pack the whole time.
Murkrow
Could you
receives
imagine?
12 Pokédollars. Be sure to mark it off the sheet. And Murkrow
Absolutely.
drops into the slot, and for some reason, the slot just like knows what region it's destined to, and there's like 8 different paths on the chute where the mail slides down.
You know, I
and
think
it
this
goes
post
into a
office idea is
particular
also something that I
leads
stole from Boarding
to
Party.
a
Not like
bunch
post
of
offices are
Starly
exclusive
and a
to
couple Staravia
Boarding
and, like,
Party,
2
but
Staraptor.
one of the
They
trainers
pick
is
the
like his
envelope,
goal
and
is
the
to like
Starly picks it up
be the best
and
mailman.
flies out of the
So
box.
I think there was a lot of
A very
post
similar
office type
process
stuff
happened
going
with
on, and
Ally.
so that was probably fresh in my mind when we did this episode. I was like, I have to make sure there's a post office so they can send messages.
Yeah, I'm okay the money.
Murkrow drops your letter in the chute, it goes into a section that is populated by little redbirds and a couple medium-sized redbirds and a big redbird. You recognize this to be the Talonflame line. It is picked up.
I think you're a little
by
too loose with
Talonflame,
the word
who
stealing.
puts it in its little
It's like
bag
it's
and
inspired. Like you don't have to
through the
take it
roof.
like directly
Plus,
from
Yeah.
it.
No, I mean, yeah,
Just say
maybe.
that-
stationary,
Like you
so
do
for
make it your own
$4
ideas
and
after a
15
minute with it.
$50
Like even if
on
it's
the
like,
second
oh,
one.
this concept is like
It's 15 even though
inspired
it's,
by somebody else, but
local.
That's
It's
true.
local,
I
but
think
you
what
got
I'm
some
trying to
fancy
get at
stationery.
is more what I hope
I
is
was
just a
just making
sentiment in the TTRPG
yeah,
community in
okay.
general,
Excellent.
which is
And I'm
just
assuming you aren't gonna
using
expedite
stealing
this
just
by that
brazenly
point, 'cause it's
as a way to
Yeah.
like
Right around the
encourage
corner,
it,
yeah.
because I feel like
Right around the
too many
corner,
new
right,
DMs
right,
are
right.
like,
A bird can get
oh, I
through
have to
this.
do like my
So
whole new
there's,
thing that
a
is
couple
totally
of
original and
fairly
unique
sized
to my
little
brain.
bluebirds,
Yeah.
And
whether
I
you
think
recognize the
experienced
tail,
DMs will
take
say,
the envelope
dude,
back
just
in
like
the
if
bag,
you
it
like
is
something
found
from
stuck in its
D20,
talons,
just like
and
do
it
it.
flies off.
Matt Mercer like blew
Yeah.
your brain, just do that.
Just
You know,
sit
like
on
that's really
just kinda, like,
encouraged. So
chilling with her
I think that
guys.
might be
Looks
what
like
I'm
she
getting
might
at
have
with
a
my
screwdriver to
vocabulary
some
choice
sort of,
there.
like a watch maybe.
not
or maybe
unfair.
it's a
I
computer,
just think
but
like the word
she's
stealing can
definitely
also
advanced
be
and
like
making progress, and
take
he
the
says, "Great,
connotation of like
y'all are done here?"
it's and that it's a bad thing technically to do it. You're like, I'm doing it anyway.
Ah, sure,
Like,
okay. Yeah,
it-
fair enough. Yeah, that's probably good to clarify. Some people might not
Okay.
understand that that is
So
what is
you
meant.
yeah,
walk over to the
you're
gym,
free to like I
and
mean
right as
like
you're about to
as a
enter the
teacher of
Fortress City
engineering, I
gym,
try
the
to encourage
doors
people all the time to
open,
like take
probably,
ideas
like,
that already
too
exist
soon for
and
them
apply
to
them to the
enter,
thing
like,
that you're doing
and
it
out
for
steps
because
a
the idea
man
already exists. Like, why are you
in
trying to like reinvent the
khaki
wheel?
shorts,
Right.
Like, if
blue
like someone came up
shirt,
with a cool
he's got
concept and it
blue
fits
gelled
what
hair,
you're trying to do, then
and
like make
he's
use of it. Like you
accompanied
should.
by two
And
And
this
it's
is like
especially
you
with
can see that application
TTRPGs,
all the
like
time.
And he
your
says,
players
"Power,
probably
yes,
don't know, and if they
success,
do, they'll
we
be like,
win,
oh, it's
we
that
hit
thing
it,
from that thing.
feather
That's
badge,
cool. You know, so like
let's go."
worst case
Yeah. Oh,
scenario
it's cool
is
that we
not
fit it
bad
in
at
ours.
all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Past you guys. And he seems to be very happy. And as he's walking, he's like punching the air, and his little
Oh, is
Pokemon
this
are
Vince
like,
again?
"Man,
Yeah.
man." They're just cheering.
I didn't
and
realize. I
waving
forgot that he
blue
showed up
shouts.
again.
So you enter
Isn't even gonna say hi?
He was
did
a
say
pretty
hi.
important character.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna look away for sure.
One of the more
So-
established NPCs for sure at the beginning.
Roll to perceive me.
Yeah, he just
Yeah.
doesn't even notice. He doesn't even care about you guys. Like, who knows if he even recognized you from before? He's just
Yeah.
power, success, onwards, and he's just mobbing. He
Like
doesn't- it
goat.
seems like he's just walking like straight.
Power,
under the village,
success.
which is funny because you have to step down a ladder to get to this building. Because all the walkways are elevated in the treetops, and he's just like walking under the walkways, like into the jungle. Like, who knows where this guy's going? You all enter the Fortress City gym. There's a
Where
gentleman
was
who's
he
got a
going,
funky
truly?
mustache.
It's a
He's in some
mystery.
sort of uniform that looks kind of
Seeking
sporty,
more
but also
power.
kind of formal. You assume it's kind of like the Hoenn looking uniform for gym personnel. And he waves over to you all. He says, "We're closed for the day. We had our last entrance just now. Can I help you?"
We would like
Um,
to get registered for the gym challenge, please.
He looks at all of you and says, "Oh, sure, yeah, I can get you registered now. We're just not going to take any more challengers until tomorrow. Who wants to come up first?"
I'll do it.
Great.
I will.
Okay.
As the leader.
As the leader,
Hell
this
yeah.
gentleman,
As
looks you up
the
and down and
leader.
says, "Very well."
I like to imagine it happens exactly like that.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
Gimli
Oh, this
started
is
to
when we
see
roll
something
for our
and then Schmidt just, like, cut in,
Oh,
"I will."
is it-
Like,
Oh yeah.
I don't remember doing that. That's so funny. You're right.
Yes, all right.
Because I
what's
remember
your
Elodie's
name?
like,
are you talking
what,
to
nat
yourself?
20 or something? She's
Yeah.
I'm talking
like,
to
Yeah.
you.
head over the
Yes,
shoulder,
the
like,
leader.
post.
I'm
Alright.
Schmidt, the leader of the pack.
And you see him like typing away at some sort of keyboard that's seems to be projected onto the table that he's standing at. And he says, "Okay, and what region are you from?"
Oh shit, what region am I from? Johto.
Hell yeah.
He says, "All right, Schmidt, get
I
ready."
forget.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, crap. Where am I from?
Okay, great. Out of nowhere, there's a big old flash.
Something
of light.
that's fun about the
Seems like
Pokemon
he's
world
captured your face, and
is
seem to
you
be
know, we
very
just spent
prepared,
time at the
as you are
post
prepared for
office
anything
to
because you are
send
the leader.
messages. Yet this guy has like a hologram keyboard.
Out
You
comes
know?
a little
It's
laminated
funny
sheet that
juxtapositions
has
you
his face
get
and
from
your
this
basic
world.
Credentials on it. He slides it in
Tech, but
to
where
a
we
little
want it.
box.
You know?
Yeah,
We don't want to put
exactly.
Hoots out of
To have
business.
Yeah, exactly.
slots in it.
Yeah, they care about the
Cushion
labor.
foam padding. Hands it to you, and he says, "Welcome to Hoenn. Good luck on your challenge." He repeats this process with each of you for the sake of brevity. Now that you know that photos are coming.
Yeah, I did do
Fun with
this.
your
That's
photos?
funny.
Can I roll to see how good or bad mine comes out?
I might have actually just had you do that anyways, depending. So absolutely, just roll me a d20 and we'll see what happens.
I'll just see what happens.
Yeah,
We got a 16.
yeah, it's a pretty good picture. You aren't smiling with your mouth open, but you got a nice little corner smile there, and your hair looks really good. So
Yep. I brush my beard a bit and get an 18.
okay, yeah, excellent. A great photo. Your beard looks.
We all
awesome.
rolled pretty high.
Yeah.
Really just
Yeah.
for sure. Model posing.
I guess I didn't have Schmidt roll
Yeah.
because I forgot. That sucks.
You going for a fancy a very dramatic pose, Elodie?
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Okay, do you want to roll that? I'll give you your
Sure.
performance bonus since you're so dramatic.
Did it get cut? Maybe.
Maybe. Well, also like Melissa brought it up. She's like, "Can I roll?"
Oh,
So I think I might just
22?
no,
Maybe.
I might just
Yeah,
deprived you the
yeah,
opportunity.
It's awesome. You
Yeah.
do a very dramatic pose. Do you want to describe what that pose is?
Probably like looking, backwards over the shoulder kind of moment.
Oh, like almost candid.
Yeah, like it's like it looks like it's supposed to be candid, but like she definitely like knew what she was doing.
Excellent. Yeah, it looks great. Even the guy taking the picture is like, "Oh wow, that's pretty impressive." Everyone gets their photos taken. They all.
Could you
all
imagine
get
if you're at the
this little
DMV and
box,
someone
it's
said that's you?
match-based,
They're like, "Oh, great
you have
photo."
the inventory, and it's got your driver's license,
Crazy.
license,
They
driver's
tell me
license,
stop
license.
smiling.
Really?
Staying in town overnight,
That's so
but
sad.
Like that's
it's
just my
like
face.
at-
You're not allowed to. I mean, at least in New Jersey, you're not allowed to
With that,
smile in your
we really gotta
photo.
close down. We got some reports
That's
to do, and that
crazy.
just ushers you all
I always smile, but
outside,
they never tell
and
me
the
not
doors
to.
close, and you hear a
I
lot
don't
of
think you're
I
supposed
don't
to,
smile
but I
just
just do it
because I'm
anyways.
outside the gym,
depressed.
and you got a new
Fair.
driver's license for the Hoenn region, and you
Oh,
got your
no.
badge case.
I do like the neutral, like little bit
It's
of it, like
hanging out in
lips
town and
turned
running
up in the
errands.
corner, but it's
So
not like a
what
smile. It's like
next?
as
What do you
neutral as
love
I
to
can
do?
get.
Mm-hmm.
You're in the
No,
center
I'm
of
full
town,
cheesing.
so you're in a great place to go wherever you
All
want.
cheddared up.
To see the witch.
Yeah, I was gonna say unless somebody wants to go get supplies, I'm good with just going to see the witch.
Nope. 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 No
Fine,
witch.
you stay and get supplies, and we'll go see the witch.
Is this
Schmidt,
the
why
start
don't
of
we
Schmidt superstition?
Secure a hotel room.
This wasn't even use my.
We're electing a new
3/4
leader.
vote. This is something I just decided in the moment that I'm like,
We're
not go see the
electing a
witch.
new leader.
It's
Schmidt
pretty.
doesn't like witches.
Yeah, it's pretty formative. I feel like he has similar
Mark Rowe
moments in the
another hat.
future where it's there's something
Yeah,
spooky, and
Luke.
he's like, "Nope, nope, nope." You know.
Gonna listen to
I
your
think it
fearless
works.
leader and put it to
Absolutely.
a vote.
No way.
We already won the vote.
But you forgot to account for my 3/4 vote. Like, all of you collectively have 1/16 vote. So
It's so
I just-
fucked.
that's how it
for
works
you,
in
yeah.
a democracy.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
No.
That is kind of true, though.
Yeah.
Don't
No.
actually
No.
do it in Johto.
I do it in Johto.
Yeah, I don't know how democracy works in Johto, but
Yeah.
So we're gonna go.
Johto's probably not
and if
democratic,
you don't
honestly.
want to, that's fine, but
It's
if
so
you wanna
traditional.
come,
I just can't
you're
imagine.
more than welcome.
Yeah,
Maybe it is.
yeah.
And suggest he
I don't
should get a
necessarily think they're
hotel
like
room while we go see
autocratic,
the
but I
witch.
think it's
So
it's a
everyone
little bit
stay.
more of a kind
Yeah,
of
if you wanna book us a
conservative,
hotel
traditional
room,
form of
you can
government.
stay, like, you're more than welcome to.
I'm not a
Sam will
poli
not
sci enough
be-
guy to make that
Sam will
assertion,
interrupt that
but
statement
that's
and
my vibe
say,
check.
Here in the Hoenn region, I've noticed that all the Pokemon centers seem to have trainer hostels where you can stay for free. However, if you want to get something a little bit more luxury, a little more comfortable without a bunch of other trainers, then there's absolutely a hotel down in the commercial district.
Free is good. All right, I've procured a hotel room where we will be staying.
Amazing, great job, fearless
In the
leader.
Pokemon Center.
Fearless leader.
Great
Sam's,
with all the other homeless people, since Schmidt seems to love them so much.
Sam's kind of like, well, you didn't do anything, but okay, that's fine.
The
Just pat him on the back. He needs it.
what's the Sailor Moon
Okay,
quote?
so we're gonna send
Oh,
Zane
the
My
up
work here is
Tuxedo Man.
fun,
this
but you
mysterious
didn't
The
do
house.
anything.
Schmidt,
Yeah.
do you-
Yeah, Tuxedo
I
Mask.
mean,
That's his name. Yeah.
What is your plan? What do you want to do? Because you don't
Um,
have to join them, but you do have to have a plan of some sort.
No, I think the gang needs to stay together.
Okay. So-
He is like
follows behind. It's like,
Okay, I'll protect you.
He's like lumbering along in the back.
Echoing is crazy.
Yeah, you
while
guys are in the same
recording.
room. Yeah,
Go to
crazy.
Witch, no.
Were we still in the same room at that point?
Yeah,
Great. You
as a leader,
It's
I
only
think
episode
so.
3, so-
Responsibility.
all enter the residential
Yeah, we're
area.
not like
It's
deep
really
in. This is only like a couple
it's
weeks
at the
in. We
northernmost
definitely
part of
played
town,
quite a
which
few
is
sessions in the same
one
room.
of the highest points that isn't a mountain that's in the Hoenn region.
'Cause I do
So
remember
there's just
moving
these
to, like,
tall
the
trees everywhere,
bedroom or,
the sun
like,
is starting to
Other
set,
places.
and
pretty
you're on
early.
this walkway that started as a narrow
Pretty
path
early
that's kind
on.
of expanded to like a street almost of wooden planks that lead to houses. There's one house that stands out among the rest, and you understand that this is what they call the witch. This is her house, as you understand. You all walk up. What do you do?
I mean, there's a door, right?
Knock politely.
Cindy's gonna knock.
Yeah.
Okay.
I immediately take up a defensive position in the rear.
Cindy goes and knocks on the door. You hear
Sound
some
effects.
shuffling, what sounds like a dish being set down, and then the door creaks open very slightly. It's hard to make out a figure as they're just kind of peeking through the door, and you hear a voice say, "Who is it?"
Some people you don't know.
Is this what you said?
No, no.
This is a
I'm
pretty
sorry.
central JRPG.
Some people you don't know.
Yeah, like that's
Just
a
some
pretty classic,
strangers.
From the area.
classic
Hi, I'm
Pokemon,
Cindy.
at least
Have you
early
ever heard
Pokemon
of
vibe, is
the
that you just go to
berry
people's
farm?
homes. You just do it.
The berry farm.
So
This old
I think that's
woman-
cool that we
Yeah,
have.
we're just
You can
walking
see
in,
the
like,
more
all
face,
right.
and she just appears out and she says,
pretty
"What-
fun.
What berry farm are your parents of?"
Of course, Cindy knows the name of the berry farm.
Sure. Yeah, you know that they call themselves the Berry Masters, which is like a little, it's a little overconfident, but it's kind of true. You can see some narrow old eyes widen very slightly, and she says, "Oh my goodness, I love having visitors. Please come in." And the door swings open. Before you see an old woman. She's hunched over. She's in a house gown. It looks very comfortable. She's very wrinkly. Her face is that like pleasant old lady face that's all wrinkly and it's kind of in a permanent smile, and her eyes are kind of wrinkled shut, but you can tell that she's a very smiley individual. She has really long white hair that's kept back in a loose ponytail, and there's some color at the very end of it, just a little bit of red. She beckons you in. Do you all enter?
Yeah.
Yes.
Great. So we all
Even
I
Schmidt.
have Quacko with me, and I'm like, Quacko, draw your sword, and then Quacko pulls out his leaf.
excellent. I'm gonna take it that
He's
it's
so ready.
canon.
Is that the first time I
Schmidt
called it a sword?
Quacko's
It might have
leaf
been,
is
yeah.
Sword.
Oh, you just commented on it.
Okay.
You all entered what's a pretty.
I like
cool
how
house. Pretty modest dwellings.
like somehow so many things have changed and also like nothing has changed.
Yeah, that's really sweet, isn't it?
That's so
Because we're
true.
having the same
Some stairs
reactions
up front
to
that go
things
up to what is presumably
in the
a
listen
bedroom,
back that we
and
had
then
in the
living
call.
room.
It's true.
Yeah, it's
There's
awesome.
a sofa, there's a coffee table, and a cabinet with a whole bunch of items on it. There's some candles on the top, and then to your right, there's a bookshelf. She says, "Please come in, have a seat. I love having guests," and you can see that she is boiling some water. So
What are you making?
she says, "Oh, of course. Whenever I have guests, I make tea. Would all of you like some tea?"
I'd love
Oh,
some.
of course.
How did
I'll
she
have
know
some.
she was gonna have guests?
Didn't she
How did
just
I'll
she
put
know
the
she
kettle
was
on?
gonna have guests?
She just put the kettle on.
She's probably making tea for herself.
She said there was something already boiling.
Sus.
She overhears
The immediate sus. I love it.
I mean, Schmidt was kind of right to be sus. I mean, she was nice, but there was something amiss, no? Something's
Yeah.
not right.
But I don't know if it was the tea.
No, it's not the tea.
It was definitely just like we're trying to progress the moment, and it's like, oh, the tea gets to a boil. It's like, how did she do that so fast? It's like,
Yeah.
the passage of time is not real in this
Sam takes a seat.
moment.
Pretty awesome.
She's feeling comfortable. And this old woman says, "Well, I've met you, Cindy. My name is Zoe. Welcome to my humble abode. What are all of your names?"
My name's Gimli. Pleasure.
I'm Elodie.
That's something I should have had you guys do more often
Sorry,
later in the
for
campaign, is
Kenny,
introduce
sorry.
My
yourselves.
name is giveaway.
Mitch just like bugging out, like looking at every
The
single shot
subtitles
ever.
go crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, my name's giveaway.
I mean, I guess I could manually type all the subtitles for every episode, but
No, but I love YouTube subtitles, so
They're
they just
funny.
like jack it up all the time.
Yeah.
"Hi, I'm Sam. I just met all these folks, but they seem really cool." Zoe says, "Oh, excellent. Let me prepare these." And she pulls down her coasters for her teacups. It seems like the water's almost done. She has this giant jar that's full of tea, and she has these little homemade tea bags, and she slips them in, pours the water in, grabs a little tray, sets the tea in front of each of you, and she has a seat at the head of the table, and she says, "What brings you to my house today?"
Well,
Mhm.
if you've noticed, some of the Pokemon in the area have been acting a little different, and we're just, checking around, seeing if anybody knows anything about what might be causing that.
Zoe says, "Oh, yes, of course." And she sips her tea. And she says, "A lot of the locals seem to be blaming me for this heat wave and for the behavior of the Pokemon that's been quite strange lately. I've been a target of persecution here for a while, but I'm just trying to do my best to live a quiet life. Do I know what's causing it? Not directly, but I have my own theories." She takes a sip of tea.
Also take a sip of tea.
I'm
Excellent.
taking a sip of this tea.
Yeah.
I
It's
also take
really
a
good.
potato.
It's of course
Yeah,
pretty
you gotta
thick.
take a potato.
It's got some
Yeah,
flavor
I take one of
in
her
I
it.
didn't know they were
potatoes for
available.
sure.
I want a potato,
I
dude.
like it.
Yeah, it's simultaneously relaxing and energizing. It's really good.
It's the perfect tea.
Sam is like blowing on her cup. It's a little too hot for her.
What are your theories?
That flavor was supposed to be a reference how she's a ice type trainer.
He says, "Oh, I've been around for a very
That's crazy.
very
The foreshadowing
long
goes
time,
crazy.
and
I mean, she has a
I've seen
sneasel,
the
but yeah,
world.
yeah.
Situations such as this with the weird weather and
And then she also gets a spiel, right? That's
Yeah.
also ice.
That wasn't planned. That was on the
Adjacent?
table, and I was like, you know what? Let's give her a spiel. So that's what we did.
You know,
It's an ice type, you know? And there's
truly
canonically, there's like no ice types in Hoenn. There's Spiel and Snowrun, and that's it. They're just
Yeah.
in one corner of the map. So
yeah, they're in this little ice cave area, and it's like, okay.
Team
Like,
Aqua.
Mhm.
Like, everything's fine. Don't be suspicious.
Don't be suspicious.
Don't be suspicious.
This perks Sam's
Don't
attention
be
to it. She's like,
suspicious.
"Oh, yeah,
Don't
she
be
doesn't say this, but
suspicious.
she's curious.
Don't be
She's very
suspicious.
curious about what Zoe has to say. Zoe says, "Things always go awry when people with big ideas meddle in ways that they shouldn't be."
Hmm.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah. I
Profound.
agree.
I wonder what she was talking about.
Would you
Mm.
like to hear the
Yes.
story?
Most definitely.
Sure.
Mm.
So
Damn,
she
and
sits
Sam
up,
was in the room too.
She pulls out
Yeah.
a chair. She moves pretty slowly, but
And then she looks at Sam directly. She
We-
definitely was like,
past her little cabinet where there seems to be
We were sus of the
candles,
wrong
a
fucking
photograph.
person.
There seems to be something that's like on an altar. And she goes over to her bookshelf. She thumbs around, pulls out a dusty little book. She wipes the dust off of it, and she opens it up, and she says to you, "Do you all know the story about why wild Pokemon appear in tall grass?"
I never really thought about it.
She gestures to her bookcase, and she says, "I'm very proud of my collection. I've collected most of my
I could have
books,
probably
so
flavored up this encounter more if this was
She
after
flips over.
Legends Arceus
Let
came
me
out.
read you an
But
excerpt.
I'm pretty happy with how it turned out anyway. But it would have been cool to have been able to have
Well,
pulled
I
from
know
all that,
Hector's
despite the fact I pulled from
Pokemon
Hisui and
are
Zoroark
living
anyway without
separate
meaning
lives.
to.
That's not to say they
Yeah,
do not
like you
help
just
each
got
other.
it's like her
No,
hair's white with like a little bit of red on
they
the
supply
end.
each other
Yeah.
with goods and
Pretty
supporting
crazy.
each
And
other.
like, isn't that like
A Pokemon
exactly
proposed to
Hisui and
the others to
Zoroark?
always
Pretty
be
much.
ready to help
It's
each
not
other.
tied up like,
well, your
you
logic
know,
there, I
very.
assume, was
Right.
like, it's a
Before
ghost.
humans
So you're just like,
always.
this is like old Zoroark, so the hair will be white. Like,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Like,
That's kind of what I was going for, yeah.
Tall grass. She looks at all of you, and she says,
I would say canonically, retroactively, she is like Hisuian for sure, and she's very old. And
the young ones.
yeah, she would be from Hisui, and she knows all this stuff.
Ideas for
Um,
power or
She would have been a
ambition.
great resource and ally for the quest that Pekka went on for the Arceus plates, but unfortunately she had to be killed. So,
R.I.P.
Ah, it is what it is.
Yeah, it is
Oh,
what it
plot
is.
devices.
but yeah, she could have been like a lore master kind
And
of
then She
character,
goes back to the table and enjoys her tea.
but she's trying to be
Says,
subtle here,
"You
obviously.
seem like an eclectic bunch. Where
Yeah.
are you all from?"
Really all over the place. I'm from Sinnoh.
Ooh, her eyes kind of brighten a little bit, and she says, "Oh, Sinnoh, I've spent much of my time there with my
Oh,
now
have you?
partner. What
I
brings you
worked
here
many
to
years
the?
in the mines.
Oh,
That's
the mines.
crazy.
Which ones?
Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I've-
crazy.
We really invented Legends Arceus, didn't we?
We did, yeah.
Well, like everybody was like listening to it later. It was like, oh, it's obviously Hisui. And we're
Yeah.
like, we didn't know that
No,
existed.
this shit happened before. I think even before the game was announced, right?
Correct, yeah.
Did you perhaps find any artifacts while you were mining?
Not at the time. It was always collected by the mining company. So
She says,
ultimately, no.
You know you can tell me. I always keep my best kept secrets over tea." And she gives you a wink as she says that.
I trust that, ma'am. Very much so.
She says, "Very well, very well."
My suspicion intensifies.
She gestures. to the
Schmidt
rest
was
of
onto
you. She says,
something.
"Well, tell me a little bit about yourselves. I don't have guests and learn nothing about them."
I'm from Kalos.
She says, "Ooh, very
Kellogg's.
I've only been.
I
there
think
for
I
a
pronounce it
Kellogg's.
differently every time I say it.
That's part of
I'm
the
not
fun.
gonna
during your time here in Hoenn."
That's just one of LD's quirks.
Yeah, it's really,
Just keeps it spicy.
I'm excited to try all of the different foods.
Zoe gives you a nod and she says, I think you'll find some very high quality cuisine here. Yes, yes. I chose to settle here in the Hoenn region after my partner and I had our adventures because it's just such a comfortable place to live with so much diversity. I think you'll have a really good time while you're here." Sam chips in and says, "Hey, I'm from Sinnoh too. I had a really great time living there." And Zoe says, "Oh, interesting. What brings you to
Did we
Hoenn?"
know? Did we remember that Sam is from
responds,
Sinnoh?
"It's
Because
so
I didn't
strange you
remember
both
that.
labeled yourself."
Probably
That
not.
she said that.
It's like it's really important.
Yeah, yeah.
Sam responds.
You think I remember
"Well, I came here
anything
for
about what
work.
happens ever?
I've always wanted to visit, though,
Yeah,
and it seems like
no.
I just came at the wrong time, or maybe it's the right time."
That's why we
And
have group
she looks at all
notes.
of you
I don't
and she
remember
smiles.
nothing.
Mhm.
Zoe says, "Oh yes.
Anyone
yes,
ever
you'll
listens to the
surely
recaps
enjoy
of every
yourself here."
episode ever, where it's like, ooh, ooh,
Maybe
ooh,
September is definitely going to be an event.
what happened
I don't
last
know, I
time?
wasn't
Ooh,
there.
ooh, ooh.
I wasn't there.
Been trying to get my gym badges, but haven't won any battles yet. But here we are, trying again.
No, we won that battle at the secret base.
Yeah, but no gym battle.
Oh, fair. Gotta give
No gym
yourself
bad.
credit, though, where credit is due.
Zoe looks over.
No gym bad,
She
guys.
says, "Oh, you'll do just fine. A time-honored tradition between people and Pokemon."
Did you ever participate in the gym challenge?
She looks fondly over towards the back wall by the bookcase, and she says, "No, I'm not much of a battler myself, or I guess I'm not great at giving commands. But my partner, Casey, always an excellent battler, had many badges. I think they ended up with a total of 28 badges between the regions. Incredible,
Wow.
very talented, and I miss them dearly." You can all observe at the back wall what this shelf seems to be is some sort of shrine.
Legends Arceus didn't
There's
have any
a little
precursor
black and
to
white photograph
gyms, right?
Of a person. They're holding like
No?
a fox Pokemon. They're smiling. And this fox Pokemon looks very happy. There's some unlit candles. There's
What were they
behind
called?
glass case,
The totem
They're like
Pokemon?
noble
Not totem.
Pokemon.
Noble.
and
Yeah.
just binders
So
of
They were
maybe-
like
photos.
the
It was
equivalent.
more like Titan vibes,
General
like from
memorabilia, what do you
Scarlet
call it?
Violet, like that,
Yeah.
like fight a big
Got it.
Pokemon.
Scrapbooks within this,
So maybe a
shrine.
lore
She looks
inconsistency
very
there
proud
if
of
I
you,
had known
adoring
that
you.
Arceus was gonna not have gyms, which makes
Zoe
sense.
is
Oh.
But maybe Casey's
sitting
from like
next to you.
late
She
Hisui.
says,
I don't know.
"If you've come
Mhm.
for ancient knowledge, you've come to the right place. I know a great deal many things about not just the Hoenn region, but the world as a whole. In my travels, I have learned a great deal. And thanks to these books," and she gestures over to the wall, she says, "I've learned a great deal from these as well. Some people take suspicion in my teachings, in the knowledge that I have, and thus they've called me the witch as such, and maybe because I have so much tea," and she gestures over to her giant tea jar. It is really quite enormous. It's like if it held liquid, it would be like several gallons. It takes up the whole counter basically. "I'm always happy to have visitors, so please come by anytime, just for tea, asking questions. I don't mind at all."
Wasn't the whole purpose to ask about the weather?
We did, but she didn't
Did I
really
miss
know
that?
anything.
Okay.
She just
Well,
told
she
us
said
about
she
Team Magma.
suspected it had like similar, Groudon. Basically, she alluded to.
Okay, if we talked about everything, then that's it, I guess. Schmidt does not like witches, but also respects their space. So he would like to get out of here and leave everything alone.
Awesome Schmidt
Do you
lore.
just like get up and backpedal out? Do you say anything?
He actually like literally walks backwards, and it's like, oh well, I guess we don't have anything else to say, or let's go, let's get out of here, guys. Great time, good tea. Let's go.
Yeah, man, we appreciate you welcoming us into your home, but I think we have all the questions we need.
She waves at you and she says, "Well, it's very, very nice meeting you. Once again, if you have any more questions about the world or me or anything at all, please feel free to come by. And don't forget, my best kept secrets are always kept over tea." And she gives you another wink.
I forgot what I was getting at there. I think it was supposed to be a hint for something, but I don't remember what it
It
was.
sounds like you're leading into something, but it never came up.
Yeah,
The planked
that's probably what it was.
walkway in the residential area. Sam looks at a gadget on her wrist and she says, "Well, I know that you all have some more things you'd like to do, but now that it's cooling down, I think I want to go back onto the route and see if I can make any more headway on this mystery. It's unfortunate that I don't think Zoe's been able to help us out very much, but she gave me kind of an idea of what might be happening. Would you all be okay if I went and did that while you continued your errands?"
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
I think so,
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Sam gives you a wave. She says, "I'll meet up with you back at the Pokemon Center."
Sounds good.
And she runs off to the route where you came from. There's a couple more places you can visit in Fortress City. What would you like to do?
Can you list out the couple places for us again?
Sure.
As a reminder.
There's a building with a bunch of people milling about that you're pretty close to. It would just be a left turn out from the residential area. There's a big sign that says "Rite of Passage, Fortress City," and then there seems like a guy in a lab coat.
Rite of
and he's,
Passage?
like, shouting at the roof for some reason. Like he's facing the sign and he looks very upset. And then just further south of there, past the gym, is a commercial area, as you understand. It's what Sam described as a commercial area where you can buy things.
I'm a little
Guy in lab coat?
sussy. Yeah, with the guy yelling. What's up with
Yeah.
that?
I mean, we're still trying to investigate. Do y'all want to check out this guy with the lab coat?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm up for it.
That's all we know is yelling at sign. Does the sign say
Yeah.
anything, or
The sign
Do I gotta roll
says
for it?
Rite of Passage, Fortree City.
oh, that's right. Those were They said that was the research facility.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Guy probably just got fired or something and is mad.
But we should probably still, if we're looking to investigate, we should.
But like, why did they
probably
fire him?
But like, also, what if he's upset and wants to hurt people?
I have 3
murder
Pokemon.
people.
It's fine.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, but what if he wants to hurt us?
It'll be fine.
I mean, but you're fearless. What do you care?
I have never said that in my life.
You're our fearless leader.
Never have I said fearless. Fear's what keeps you alive.
He strolls on over and
That's a
says,
great
"Hi,
quote.
hi."
Holy shit.
Okay, great.
Just like,
I didn't
"Hi,
remember that.
everyone."
Yeah, we just go.
That is a good quote.
I mean, it's true.
There's a guy in a lab coat, and he looks clearly upset.
really
He's
good.
just like shouting something at. You can tell that there was someone in a window that's towards the roof, and they have their hands on the sign. And he says, "No, no, no, they got it wrong. It's a translation error. It's not rite of passage. It's rite of learning. We're here to learn. There's nothing about passing. Please, we need a new sign." And he just is so upset, and he's just ranting and raving
Oh,
about
that
like,
makes
how
a
they
lot
got
of
it
sense
wrong.
now.
And he turns around and he says, "Oh, hello.
What
do
does?
you happen to be a trainer?"
You're like rite of like even you're like rite of
Very excited,
passage.
and he
Yeah,
grabs your
yeah.
hand and he shakes it vigorously.
Right
He says,
alerting.
Yes, yes, welcome, welcome. My name is Professor Hemlock, and welcome to the Fortree City Rite of Learning. And he jeers up at the employee who's trying to like unfit this sign. He looks at all of you and he says, "Well, I hope that you're all trainers. This is a new facility we've opened here. If you haven't heard of it, there's a organization in the Laris region. It's called the Rite of Learning. And there they take in young trainers and they can answer questions about their Pokemon, teach them new moves. It's a really delightful place. Why don't you come in? You can be our first experiments, so to speak." And he lets out a giggle. He ushers you to the big sliding glass doors, and does everyone enter?
Absolutely.
Great.
Okay.
I enter, but I tell Quacko to draw a sword.
Quacko draws his sword. He may have, let Zoe get by, but he's not going to let Professor Hemlock get by. That's for sure.
That actually thinks the leak is a sword.
We do not
Yeah.
respect this.
It
surrounding.
genuinely
Just the
thinks it's a
opening.
sword.
You all walk in this
That's funny.
large
I like it.
dome-like building. It's clearly a new facility. There's still that kind of scent of like new
Also,
building
the
smell
idea of
going
Farfetch
on
drawing a
top, and
sword
there's,
is funny
like,
because
fresh
he doesn't have a
pieces of
hilt.
linoleum and
Like, he's
whatnot.
always
There's all
carrying
these,
it.
like, glass
So I guess
chambers,
drawing a
lots of
sword is
little
just kind of
offices.
pointing
There's
it
lots of
outward,
people
right?
in lab coats running around, and there's lots of little Pokemon that are carrying things. You see, there's some sort of turbine spinning.
I have a little
inside of
old
the
man
building.
gripe
There's all these
about
little poles that
Spotify
look
and
like they
YouTube
conduct
comments,
electricity.
which is
There's
a
this
fair amount of
pool
people
back in the
who
bottom
fairly
corner.
assume that Quacko is just Galarian.
And Professor
They're
Hemlock
just like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, that's a
Welcome,
Galarian
welcome,
Farfetch.
everyone. Yes, this is
Probably
the
because
learning
they're
of
younger
Fortree
than we
City.
are. They don't really understand that there's an
They
older
don't
one.
understand that there's a real Farfetch
Yeah,
too.
Yeah, pretty funny.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's come up a few times. I think there was this fight like halfway, like 50-ish or
Yeah, I
something,
don't know if I wanna do
where
this
Quacko
anymore.
got 3 crits, and they're like, "Why didn't he
Quacko's sword,
evolve?"
that's a
I was like, "He's not Galarian." I don't know what to tell you. It's just kind of funny.
Professor Hemlock
Definitely
eyes
ages me a bit.
Quacko, who is behaving in a very intimidating manner or a very wary manner, one or the other. And he says, "Oh, incredible, fascinating, a Kanto Farfetch'd." And he kneels down and he has a clipboard and he starts writing something very, very fast. And he says,
I move my body in a position in between him and my Farfetch'd.
Professor Hemlock says, "Incredible, this looks like a very, very fierce specimen." And he seems to be taking notes on it. And he says, "What was the last thing it ate?" And he's still scribbling and scribbling.
Bob's.
Pops.
Yes, it was Bob's, wasn't it? We haven't eaten since.
Professor Hemlock says, "Ooh, kebabs, incredible, incredible." And then he stands up and he's just got, you can kind of peek on his paper and it's literally scribbles. Like, you really cannot tell what he was writing down. "I don't know how long you've been together, but I assume that you're here for the gym challenge, correct?"
Kind of.
Yeah.
Partially, yeah.
Excellent. If you have any questions about your partners, about moves they may learn, about making them stronger, perhaps making them more defensive, more evasive, perhaps, to prepare you for the gym battle, please let me and my aides know. In exchange for research and notes, we can help you become better battlers. And an aide walks by and kind of eyes Farfetch. Is like, oh yeah, that's a cool Farfetch, dude.
He like melts some of his defensiveness a little bit, and he's like, "Yeah, this is a cool Farfetched."
Professor Hemlock gestures and he says, "Well, who would like to go first?"
Me and Trevor will do it.
You step forward. Professor Hemlock says, "Oh, a rock and roller," and he turns his notebook and he starts scribbling notes. He says, "What do you think about your partner? Is he effective in combat?"
Very much so. We have very good synergy. We've been partners for a long time.
Excellent. And he's still drawing. It looks like he's doing a doodle now because his pen clearly moved in a really big circle. He says,
I do like it in the anime when the cast will like visit just a family or some people, whatever, etc. And there'll be some older trainers, and they'll have just like a really tiny little baby guy, like maybe a Magby or a Sunkern or something. And Ash or the cast will ask like, "How long have you been like Pokemon partners?" And they'll be like, "Oh, like 70 years." And it's just a little guy. I just love the implication that applies to the D&D world, that like you can have a Pokemon partner and like not really like train, but you can still be friends. I think that's just a cool vibe.
Yeah.
Speaking of Gimli being friends with Trevor for a long time and not having evolved just because they just didn't need to have combat. They just didn't need it.
He was a utility.
Yeah, that was kind of the
figure.
idea. It's like,
Nice.
yeah,
Just
there's
a
so much
buddy.
utility there that it's like it just makes sense.
Albert,
Yeah.
And then an aide is like, "Oh yeah, I got Albert right here," and he
Besties
Me
and
and
work
my-
buddies,
pops down the Machop down in the sand.
Me and my 70-year-old Badu.
Yeah, exactly. Stuff like that.
The
I
lady
can
in the
imagine a Buddy
corner
being
of
a little
the-
old man though.
I think
Right?
there are
Wait, that's
old-looking
so fun.
Badus in the anime, right?
Leaves are
Isn't there?
wilting.
Like they're all wrinkly and stuff.
Punches Rock and Rolla
They look like the
right in
lettuce on a Big Mac.
Boom. Super. It like leaves like a shockwave in the sand, and it's like very loud. Professor Hemlock says, "Oh, excellent! Truly incredible." And he has Albert give him a couple more smacks. It seems like Trevor is not like in any pain at all. Albert is like hitting in a very, very deliberate way. The sand is kind of flying around. There's like a small sandstorm that's forming around Trevor as he's getting smacked several times by this little Machop. And he says, "Okay, perfect. That's enough. Very good." Professor Hemlock gestures to you and says, "If you wouldn't mind inspecting Trevor currently." So you pick him up and you take a look at him, and his rocky exterior is a lot more smooth than it used to be. It seems like all the sand has kind of eroded some of his rougher edges, and he seems a little bit more hardy.
They just
You
threw rock and
are
roll in a
to
rock
add
tumbler.
a point
Yeah,
to his
basically.
Constitution or his AC.
So basically,
Holy
Rock
shit, that's a
just got
strong
the
buff
tumbler,
so early. What the hell?
really shiny.
So basically, rock and roll. I just got for I said the same thing.
He looks at his clipboard. He says, "Oh, we've got some really great."
That's
research.
funny
We
how-
don't get to
how we
many
don't
people
change.
come
Great.
on in
We
here,
are
so
the
this is-
same
yes, this is
people.
very wonderful."
Isn't that crazy?
Does anyone like to
Can't
go
believe
next?
it.
That's
And I'm still into
Cindy
rocks.
lets out her menagerie.
All three of them.
All three of them.
Great.
Like, these are my friends.
Professor Hemlock looks over.
Did I
to
really give you an
and
AC or
looks at
con
you,
boost like right
Easy
away?
This landed, and Soul Eater, aka
Probably.
Soul Eater
That's
Vulpix, and he
fucked
says,
up. I shouldn't have done that.
"Oh my, this is
That's
incredible.
fucked up.
It's-
And I don't. Did I give that to anyone else though? Like, did anyone else's starters get a buff? We'll see. If maybe
I
it's
think I got
balanced.
a move.
And
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Maybe it's fair. Maybe it's fair.
Asking you questions and pestering you about
Plus
it.
1 AC on the third session
After
is
a little bit, Professor
crazy.
Hemlock says, "Well, we'd love to hang out with all of your friends, but if we're going to go through each trainer, we'll have to have you pick one. So if you would like to have us conduct some research on one of these Pokemon, you'll have to choose." He looks at you and he says, "Sometimes the greatest weapon is information." And he points to his head. You don't have to.
Cindy, in her infinite wisdom.
Mhm.
So Cookie is not actually a cookie?
He gestures and he says, "This Goomy, this is Cookie."
Yes. It's
He-
a cookie.
He kneels down and he puts his hands like just outside of Cookie's face, and he looks at you and he says, "May I?"
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course.
He grabs Goomy's cheeks and he pinches him and shakes him around, and Goomy's just like Cookie's just like getting all gooey, and he says, "Absolutely incredible." And then he gestures and he says, "May I hold this specimen for a moment?"
Yeah, sure.
So he picks up Cookie and he goes over to a little table, a little altar, and he plops Cookie down on there. And he says this will only take a moment, and he presses some buttons, and some like grid-looking lasers scan over Cookie over and over again. And he says, "Oh, interesting, fascinating. Ooh, very good." And then there's a little ding, and he looks at a monitor, and he says, "Oh, wow, something." He's made a big discovery. Clearly, he very gingerly picks up Cookie and hands Cookie back to you, and he asks, "Where did you find this Goomy?"
The
On
Scoomy.
the way here, but like
Hell
right
yeah.
outside of Lily Cove.
He writes this down, and he says, Are you from here? Do you understand that Goomy aren't particularly common in the Hoenn region?"
I've never seen one before. I genuinely thought it was a cookie because it ate some of my cookie.
He lets out a chuckle, and he says, "Oh, genius. we
Flawless
love
logic,
peanut
honestly.
butters here."
Yeah. You are what you eat,
It eat
right?
cookie.
Cookies.
It eat
Yeah.
cookie, so
Something
it cookie
very
now.
unusual
Like
about
nope.
this Goomy.
That
It
nope.
appears like its DNA is different from the other Goomies that we have on file. I would
Yeah, it's because he ate the
trust
cookie.
if you would please
Yeah.
raise this Goomy well. and
DNA
one
different
day
because of cookie.
Take it back here to our research facility. I would love.
Oh,
to
I guess
study this
Cookie
Goomy.
never came back.
Oh,
to
we
the
never
research
did that, did we?
facility.
Sad.
Oh,
I think by this point, Schmidt is like.
Didn't we find out that
the
the
it's like, oh wow, research.
this whole organization was like working for energy or something?
Oh yeah.
You didn't
I
get
think
the
was it
specific.
all of them or was it just that location?
You didn't get the
that was given
specific
the
politics
infinite
of it, but
Before we go, Patricia, I wanted to mention. I know.
gosh,
it doesn't seem like I gave.
it seemed like
bonus
at
for
least
Cookie.
the Moss Deep one
If
was
you
kind of
want,
being
just, like,
strong
forward
armed into
on the
providing
stat page, if
stuff,
you go
and they
into,
couldn't
like,
say
the
no to the
ability
money.
section, you can fill one in
Imagine
with
science
bonus.
being underfunded and having to
If you want
rely on
that
other
very
resources.
utilization of, like, something is there.
Sorry to make it real.
And I'm like, I caught this Pokemon today. Her name is Patricia, and I love her.
It seems like Professor Hemlock is delighted every time he sees a new
Of
Pokemon. He says,
Patricia.
"Oh, incredible! May I?"
Was the
And
Goomy
he,
having a
like,
unique
gestures
form?
towards,
I didn't
her
realize I
Goomy's
was that clear
yes,
about it.
yes,
I thought it was
yes.
more
He
subtle.
grabs
Did,
it, starts
did you pick up on
He
that?
was
Like,
like, raise it up well. I didn't
He, like,
realize that
getting
it would
as
be like a
excited about the
crossbreed. I was
Pokemon
just like, cool, I got a
Professor is.
special one.
okay,
out
cool.
and he,
I'm
like,
glad it was still kind of a
tips
surprise then.
Of Patricia's wings, like they're super floofy, and he's just kind of dangling her in the air, and he says, "Oh, incredible! So light, so fluffy." And then he just kind of drops, and then Patricia starts flapping in place, and he pulls out his clipboard, and he says, "This is quite the specimen. You probably caught this one right on Route 20, I'm guessing, yes?"
Yes.
Yeah.
I caught it today. This is the first Pokemon I've ever caught.
Oh, incredible! You must be so proud. Unlike Goomy, Swablu are quite common in this area, but this one is quite unique. Is there anything you would like to know about it? Is there anything you'd like to teach it? How would you like
unique?
to? He says, "Well, this one
If you
seems
think
quite
about it,
energetic, does it
Swablu
not?
was
And it's
technically
its
Schmidt's
beak is
starter.
nice and pointed."
Yeah, in a way.
And he
Yeah.
looks at it.
His
really
first
closely.
OT Pokemon.
Because I don't think any of
Yeah.
us picked up on the fact that, like, you
given
keep
what
saying,
he
like,
can
this is the
stand
first
there,
Pokemon
but-
I've ever caught. Like,
Yeah,
you have quacked.
the
Like,
party took a while to. Or I don't think they ever really did catch on to that until the subpoena
I
hit.
don't know. What does Patricia do?
Well, Swablu tend to be very versatile battlers. They can do many great things. They can be damage dealers. They can be disruptive, cause status ailments. It seems like this one is better suited for close quarters combat. I would be happy to help you teach it a new move, or perhaps work on its strength. Up to you.
Close quarters combat. Yeah, maybe make it a little.
We hadn't really
little
developed like
offensive.
our
like our friend over there.
maybe y'all had in your head, but I don't think I'd
Excellent.
caught
I
on
cannot
to
wait to get started. And
like the
he
role of the
picks up
team
Patricia
of like
out
Schmidt being
air.
like the
It's
assassin
kind of like
character.
if his hands were outstretched and one was like underhand, one was overhand.
Yeah.
I'm no
Just,
thoughts
like,
head empty on a
pitched
good day.
Patricia's
I wasn't thinking about
body, like, vertically up and
anything.
down.
I styled
Carries
your
her
like feats and
over
bonuses
to,
around that kind of
this
stuff,
wind
but
turbine that's placed in
I
the
think you
center.
guys also
He
naturally
says,
kind of fell
"Hello,
into it just by
Patricia,"
being
in the eyes. He
gamers.
says,
I
"Are you ready,
think
Patricia?"
if you
How
play
does
an
Patricia
RPG,
respond to
you
this?
know, you're gonna have those roles pretty
I
clearly
like to
defined, and
imagine
we're all
Schmidt
gamers.
Yeah, this is how I
right
build my
behind him.
characters in
He's like,
general
"Alright,
in most
Patricia,
games I
what's
play,
wrong?"
not
And
even just like
Patricia gets,
tabletop RPGs.
determination
Yeah.
in her eyes, and she's just like, and then like lets out a squawk and like flaps her wings like she's ready to go.
Professor Hemlock says, "Patricia, now is your time." And like you don't know exactly what's going to happen, but he just chucks her into this wind tunnel that is vertically arranged in the center of this research facility. And the wind is blowing.
Was the
in
wind tunnel
really
described
unpredictable
before?
ways.
Or did it just
There's a turbine
appear?
on the bottom, there's a turbine on the top.
I think it just
Really
appeared.
strong.
That's awesome.
It just generated.
Yeah,
Oh
that's
my
all-
god, there's a wind tunnel.
That's fucking sick.
Wind tunnel!
And Patricia seems to be going like up
Secret
and to
wind
the right, and then,
tunnel.
like it's thrown into to the side, and she's doing her best to maintain her mobility. Would you roll a Constitution check for her?
Oh, with a modifier.
Good sound.
Yeah.
Okay. Patricia is getting buffeted by these winds, and it's really, really intense. And she slams into a glass panel that's on the side, and she gets carried away by the wind for a second, and then the turbines cool down a little bit, and they become a little less predictive. Professor Hemlock says, "Patricia, are you doing okay?" And in my head, Patricia lets out a confident squawk, and is ready for another go. If you'd like to roll another Constitution check.
You can't make this up.
Yeah.
Oh God.
This one is a 5.
This one's a 5. Excellent. Professor Hemlock boots up the spinning turbines again, and he says, "All right, Patricia, round 2. It's now or never." And Patricia is all confident. The wind
Patricia's
slows
pretty
again,
sick.
and
I'm a Patricia
having
fan.
a
Any
hard
other
time
Patricia fans in the
keeping up.
chat?
It's a
I'm a
little
big
nasty.
Patricia
It's-
fan.
It's not
Nice.
Pretty
not
pretty
comfortable
big.
breeze.
Anyone
It's
else?
something that Patricia used to flying in.
Okay,
wind
just the
buffets
three of
her
us.
Haters.
around.
Yeah, just haters. Yeah.
One again slides into the glass panel, and
Crazy.
Professor Hemlock says, "Okay."
I
that's
forgot
enough.
that
Shut
she
the
kind of
fuck
like
down."
failed this, but I
And
think that
the
means she
blade
doesn't get
stops
any
spinning.
bonus question mark.
I'd
he-
imagine Schmidt.
You
like,
gave me like a
he-
move
he
that had like
immediately,
no
she said,
name and no
"Absolutely."
description.
He's like,
Oh, did
"Patricia,
I?
are you okay?"
Yeah, and then like
Patricia
we had to
seems
like train it to do
she's
it later.
alright. She isn't
And figured out it was Dragon Dance, I
Oh.
think.
encountering
Yes,
pain
that's what it
or
was.
anything,
Okay, so that still kind of works.
but, she's
Yeah, I
not
think my
bad.
intention
She
was to give
looks
Dragon Dance on a success,
Professor
but
Hemlock
it was not
says,
successful.
"You know,
So
she did better than it might seem. I think that she might have gotten a little something out of that. Patricia is young, and you caught her, just hours ago, perhaps. But she has a great power dwelling within her. If you train, I believe you'll come across a very powerful attack. But it needs more work. So remember, in your downtime, train with her, and bring her to battles whenever you can."
Okay.
This
I think Schmidt
is
definitely
a
did that.
move,
I
and you
think
don't know
Patricia
what it
came
is.
to many
You
a
can
battle.
use it in battle.
Yeah.
You might want to write this in your notes. You can use it in battle. You'll have to make a nature check. If you pass the nature check, the effect will happen. And if you do it enough, you might learn it. You might know what the effect is. But you have a new secret move.
Okay,
Professor
I stand by
Hemlock
that. I
takes
think
more
that's kind of
notes,
cool,
and
actually.
He says, "Well, last but not least," and he gestures over to Elodie, and he says, "Do you have any partners?"
I
you'd
think
like to have
Patricia came
conversations?"
to all of the
Yes,
gym
I did.
challenges except
And
Watson.
I push Cabbage.
The first
like,
Watson she came to,
Cabbage
though,
very
right?
excited.
Excellent.
Did she come to the
Professor
first
Hemlock,
Watson?
It seems like every time he's
Well,
I
you
remember
didn't even
Oratorio, and I remember I
have-
had to bring Farfetched.
Oh,
Yeah.
You didn't have
yes.
Buford. That's his
I
name,
can't
right?
believe it. A real life
Yeah, I
Milcery.
did have
And he walks
Skarmory.
over and he kind of like pokes her.
Did I have
How
anything
does
else by
Cabbage
that point?
respond?
Or Corio.
I may have only had
Cabbage
the
is not a
3.
huge fan
Yeah.
of it.
Pretty sure.
She just kind of, grimaces.
We haven't gotten there
He
yet,
says,
but God, do I
"Absolutely
love
fascinating. I cannot
Schmidt's
believe
second
I've
gym
seen
challenge,
these
dude.
in
It's
my
so
days."
good.
Professor Hemlock says, "Are there any particular battle skills you would like to train Cabbage in, or perhaps you'd like to learn more about her biology?" And he just kind of trails off with his clipboard.
I guess I'm curious as to her biology. She seems like she's made of milk.
He says, "Oh,
Awesome.
yes, indeed, very curious, very peculiar.
She
Sometimes
does
I
seem
wonder
that way,
if
doesn't
Yeah,
she?
yeah,
I
that's
think
pretty.
she might be made of milk.
That's so fucking
He
sick.
puts his hands under Milcery.
I always
Oh,
say that
it's
about my
so
best
awesome.
friend. You know.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah.
And he goes
I think
over
She might be made of milk.
where Cookie was scanned. And he presses a button. And
That's fucking
the
great.
button
Classic.
is-
That's way funnier than it has any right to be. It's awesome.
Yeah.
And he's like, "All right, now
You guys don't
you're
even try to be funny. You
ready."
just fucking do it. It's all
Nah,
phenomenal.
Yeah.
Are you going
Just
to
say
stop him
shit.
doing this? Do you not
I'm not
trust
gonna
him?
stop.
My
him,
whole
I'm just gonna
life,
be like, "What are you
everything I
doing?"
say, I
He says,
have to
"Oh,
ask
don't
teacher,
worry,
like,
we
why are
can
you
discuss
laughing
it
at me?
sometimes."
Yeah.
He says that he
All the
doesn't
time.
do
And it's like, what do you
this.
mean?
All the
That
time.
was fucking
He
hilarious.
throws Cabbage in the blender, and he
Oh,
turns it
God.
on.
Oh God, I forgot she got
And
blended.
Cabbage spins around like milk in a blender.
That's so
And
fucked.
She keeps her form, of course.
Takes your best friend and puts them in the blender.
Yeah. Oh, made of milk, you say? Let's put that to the test.
Was made to do.
That's it. You're
"Oh,
going in the
fascinating,
blender."
incredible, This is
Yeah.
amazing. And you can tell that her body is becoming like gradually slightly more whipped. It's like a thicker consistency as this is happening. And he says, "Yes, yes, of course. Yes, great. And then he throws off the blender, and pulls her out, and
I wanted to make Hemlock a
Say
little
that.
quirky, and I think he
Yeah,
did a
it's
pretty good
Um,
job.
like, little toughened up.
Don't eat my
It's
best friend.
quirky.
That Milcery
It's quirky.
loved
Don't say
being spun around.
Well, it's
Of course,
milk. What would you do?
situation under under the
No.
circumstances,
Wait, you say
Sentient milk. It's different.
Can't wait to get that as soup.
or other food items.
I think it
Think
worked.
If you're
so.
curious about your Milcery's biology, I would consider giving it a gift and then giving it
Oh
a
my
spin.
If you're concerned about its biology, well, I know they're made of milk,
Okay.
so
Are we literally about to just stick Milcery in a blender every time we run into one?
Every time we run into a blender.
Now, Milcery are quite
Because we ran into so many.
Happens
So many
often.
blenders. So many.
The quality of your Milcery may change
Well, I
upon
think we need to
evolution, depending
lengthen the campaign
on
another
what it
50 or so
holds.
episodes at this
please,
point. We need more
before you
blenders. I
make this
mean,
decision,
we never
Yeah.
found
be
out.
rational about it.
5 out of 10, not enough
Okay, and
blenders.
you don't know
Yeah.
anything about what you give it might the effects of the things to give it. I can't
That was
phrase
so
it.
eloquent.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I think you should learn how to evolve it.
No, I recognize that.
Just throw it in a blender.
Well, I'm spinning it. I don't think it needs to be a blender. Hopefully. I got a 21.
Yeah, 21, great. Despite the gibberish that you just spouted, it seems like Professor Hemlock like totally understands. He's like, yes, I know that this is all can be very confusing, but you're very smart. You're very eloquent. He says,
He's so
he
right.
says, it is certainly common. that
How
you
did he
believe
know?
Your Milcery can. Our research suggests, based on the Laris Region Institutes, that you may not necessarily need candy, or perhaps you may not even need anything edible to have doted to your Milcery. Please keep this in mind.
I'm gonna give Milcery my whisk and just kind of like turn her a little bit.
Okay.
Just see what that does.
Cabbage just kind of
Nothing.
spins with the whisk. It's really
Yeah,
cute.
mhm.
It is really, really cute. But nothing really happens.
Nothing happens.
From the-
Interesting. Okay.
from this process, you are welcome to grant 1 point to either Constitution or Wisdom or Intelligence for Cabbage. Professor Hemlock says, wow, we've gotten such a great deal of information from you all today. Please, I would love it if you came back at some other point on your adventure. I'm so sorry that we are just getting set up here, but I promise this is a very exciting adventure for us here in Fortree. If you are traveling the Hoenn region and it seems like you're taking the gym challenge, I understand that there are other locations that are opening new Rite of Learnings. The closest one I believe is in, and then he kind of like looks at his clipboard. He says, yes, Lava Ridge Town. If you find yourself there, please stop by. My associates would love to see your Pokemon.
Okay.
good,
Thank
yeah.
you.
Yeah, this was interesting.
Very insightful.
He says, no, of course, thank you. I have much to notate, so please run along. And he just like turns around and completely ignores you and runs into an office. And the aides are just scurrying about. It seems like there's a Pokemon that's carrying like a little beam somewhere, like a steel beam, taking it to a different wall. And people are just doing their job. You exit the Rite of Learning, and you can see that leaning up against the wall, there's a sign that says Rite of Passage, and they took it down because it's a typo from a translation error. The sun is starting to set, but it's still really hot. You're on the eastern edge of the town, and there's still a lot of heat coming from Route 120. It seems like it hasn't cooled down at all, despite the sun setting. And then directly in front of you is the commercial district. Would you like to check that out?
Absolutely.
Is there a Kmart in town?
Schmidt is like, oh man, it's hot and the sun's getting in my eyes. I sure wish I had a hat. And then Patricia just like kind of floats onto Schmidt's head and then sits on it like a hat.
Very sweet.
Aw.
You love to
Oh,
see
I
it.
googled that.
Yeah,
'Cause-
it's in the
you approach
decks.
commercial
Yeah.
That's in the
district.
decks, yeah.
There's, it's interesting. There's like one
cool.
big building with a main
Was this the
entrance with a main
same session?
And while this is
Did
a
we end up like
district,
splitting this
in
up,
quotes,
or
it seems like all the buildings are connected
Regarding
by
what?
little wooden hallways
from
with
like this
multiple
episode and the
wooden
last
doors
episode?
that lead into these different areas. There's
No,
distinct
they were not
signage.
the same session.
It just kind of
Okay.
says
I
Fortree City
think-
Mall above the double door.
I think there's only
Wow,
one or
so
two pairs of episodes that
shopping.
we split
You
up.
enter this building and it is truly like an important.
One of them is
Yeah, we had
19 to
some- we had a
20.
couple that we ran
stores,
with.
but there's hallways that
For
like, loop
sure.
around the block.
That was
They're
the
all just
Mauville
one
City
giant
Combat
building. It's
was
crazy.
split.
Right in front of you.
And then there's
a
another
large
one. I don't
desk,
remember where it
and
was, though.
there's
I think it was,
a man who looks
Cookie-
kind of, like moody, maybe kind of tired. It's hard to tell.
And
Oh,
the
yes.
beginning of the desert, the Skarmory
Yes.
fight. Yeah.
We did
He's
split
kind
that
of
up.
staring
Yes,
at the
thank you.
desk, and on top of the desk, there is a mouse Pokemon that has tints of blue, and it's holding onto a wire that is connected to a little box that has a record in it, and it's playing some music. And they're just hanging out. They're just having a time. They
I put in
recognize
some
this
shop
as
music
Kay.
here.
This does not look like Kay. This doesn't look like any shopkeep you've seen before. He looks up to you and he just kind of says, "Welcome in."
hello.
I wanted an awkward silence
No,
there.
you're-
That's pretty good.
Yo, what up, G? What's the word on the street?
Schmidt, what the fuck?
He looks at you and he says,
That's awesome. That's really
Who
good.
the fuck knows, man?
Funny, and then he, like, pounds his chest on, holds a hand sign.
Like, I don't know what's
"Are you
going on
trying to
anymore, man.
evoke?"
No.
Okay. This is just for flavor.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, should I make you roll for this? Because that could be fun.
Roll to impress him.
Right.
Roll that I accidentally throw the wrong hand sign up.
Oh, God.
No, we're not doing
Initiate combat.
No, we don't have to do that. We don't have to do that. This guy kind of just gives you a look. He's like, let me know if you need help finding anything.
Cindy just does that, like, you when you make eye contact with somebody as you're walking, that, like, little smile, but, like, doesn't really say anything.
This is
The white person smile.
Yeah,
one of the biggest
seriously.
shops you've been to. Like, it's like it's the indoor equivalent of the festival you were at, basically. But
Was
just, like,
this
without the
not
food. Like,
one of
there's
the A
clothing,
marts? I guess
there's
it
trainers'
wasn't.
goods,
They have a
there's, like,
mining.
vegetable
No, it's just a
goods.
regular mart.
Whatever you're looking
Weird.
for
Weird.
is gonna be here for
I
the
don't know what I
festival.
was thinking with
So
that.
just let me know
Maybe
if
I thought
there's
Kmart would be like a
something
one-off
in
thing.
it, potentially. Might not have everything.
And then you just decide to roll with it later? That's pretty interesting.
Yeah,
choice.
I don't understand. Yeah, I mean, I knew I wanted the Pika clone
Your
thing
shoes.
Battle shoes.
What do you have in mind?
until, you know,
for
we
your
went to
shoes?
Duford and there
Like,
was
what-
Mudbray.
what's the
But
style you're thinking of?
I like, you know, I wanted to do that.
Research to get back to.
Okay.
Mudbray's an honorary
Is there,
Pika
like,
clone,
a-
honestly, right?
Is there
Yeah,
items?
Mudbray's basically a Pika clone.
There
Yeah,
is
thank
a,
you.
like, kitchen section. They
So, like,
have
a camping section.
yes.
I think for quite a
They
while
have-
this
they
was
have
the
stuff that's designed
longest
for trainers. They
episode.
have, like, I don't know what you call them, like portable.
I remember
burners,
after we
like
finished, I
solar
was like,
panels.
oh, this is like
They
a,
have
you know, it's like
kitchenware,
a
they have
almost
spices, they have
2-hour
jerky,
recording
they have all sorts of
after the
stuff like
edit.
that.
Mhm.
Okay. Schmidt has found
But now
shoes.
that's not quite as
what?
weird.
It was
Our
a lot of,
average
like
is like,
RP and lore though.
yeah,
You
yeah,
literally just
definitely.
say the word
No, our
battle.
average nowadays, I forgot that we found those shoes. What the fuck? Did we make
Oh,
that?
man. Okay.
I think I sent that to you.
That's so funny. Yeah, I used to
I
put
think
shit in
because I
YouTube
definitely
videos.
like Googled something and I found like a reference.
That's so funny.
That's so funny that there's even a picture
Great.
on the YouTube video and somebody still commented that they wish
Yeah,
that the
you
thing that
have
happened
these
actually
green
happened.
shoes in mind, and
But
What
like
was-
it did
found
happen.
them,
What was
and
the
they look
comment?
Really, really awesome.
Oh, I have to find it.
Unfortunately, they aren't black and gold.
Let
They
me
are
look.
pink and green. The shoes are pink and the text is green. And
Me being
it's,
far away from the
font
microphone and
is,
laughing.
very similar to Comic Sans, but they're there, and there's a price tag on them.
I wish that when he rolled a 6, instead of the shoes being a different color, that it would be the shoes had a
Can help
typo. Like
people
instead of
with
battle, it says
dyslexia
paddle.
distinguish the letters better.
Yeah,
Didn't
that's-
it say bottle or
For
something?
I thought they were bottle shoes.
Yeah,
You
that
said
did
you
say
wanted to
bottle.
correct something?
Yeah,
That's
the
funny.
math is
God, I
really
wish that
bad.
happened. That would have been so funny.
Yeah,
That
that would have.
happened.
That I man,
So
Who
missed
would've thought?
opportunity for sure.
he's a
they
little
should have really
upset that
thought
you're
about that.
bothering him, and he says, "Oh, yeah, like everyone always says, like, oh, like go check in the back, but we like literally have nothing different in the back. But just to make you happy, I'll go look for you." He stands up, and as his shoulders lean back for him to stand up, you see that he has a name tag.
Oh?
His name tag says Shay.
Oh, it is Shea
He
Mart.
stands up, walks towards the back.
Sorry, I got excited.
I definitely want to check.
Whoa!
the camping section.
Oh,
Okay, so I did do it.
Dope. It is Shea Mart.
I think I'm just perusing, so I definitely want to just like scope out what they may or may not have.
Sure. Yeah, they have tents, they have flashlights, they have bungee cords, they have chains, they have thermoses, all sorts of stuff.
What's the pricing on both the tent and the bungee cord?
The tent is a flat 100, and the bungee cord comes in a 4-pack. They are 12 feet long, and that is going to be 20.
My boots are fine. Is there any like sun hats in this area?
Not in the camping area, but if you turn around, there's like a hat rack. All sorts of
Okay.
hats.
I'm definitely looking for like classic like dad sun hat with the little like drape thing in the back since we're walking around the sunny area and
Yeah.
I am quite bald.
Like the
Yeah,
bucket helmet.
Yeah,
Or
is
the
it like a
bucket hat.
bucket hat or a straw hat or like a baseball cap? Like, what are you looking for?
I guess you just described it.
I guess more like a bucket.
I did, yep.
safari
That's
bucket.
pretty funny. I did not internalize that at all.
Kinda like he's going on his first
I think I was
trip.
like preparing to improv
Yeah,
what hats
give
would
me
be
a
there,
roll.
and so I was buying for time, I think.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
11. You find a bucket hat, and it has like a green and white paisley pattern on it, and it's a little garish. And then on the front of it, it looks like someone just like stitched a white patch. And on the white patch, there's red text, and it says Women want me, Carvana fear me.
And fun fact for the listeners, I own that hat now.
Yeah. It's a
That's
great
not
hat.
fucking
the
awesome.
green
But it
paisley
has
though. It's just like a
12
khaki hat that says
polka
that.
dots.
Yeah,
It's like a
this is
trucker hat,
khaki
but
but I do have the hat.
It's a pretty sick hat, yeah.
That's a bucket. It's not a trucker. It's a
Right,
bucket
chocolate
hat.
for
Oh, is it
anyone else?
nice?
Gimli?
No.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. You walk up to the counter, and Shay is returning, and he has a shoebox. And he says, well, I found these ones, but I'm not sure if that's exactly what you're looking for. He opens the box to show to Schmidt, and he finds black and gold sneakers. They have text on the side, and they say bottle.
Bottle. I'd wear those.
Oh.
He said I could sell you some gold paint if you just kind of want to patch that up, if you're looking for the battle text.
I don't think Schmidt is especially crafty himself, so I don't. Dang, I think he'll wait. I think he'll buy the shoes at a later time
All right.
because they have to be the perfect shoes. That'll be his level up, right? Like in his mind, he's like, okay, we're gonna go in, we're gonna do this first gym easy, and then whenever gyms start getting hard, we're gonna get the shoes, and then it's gonna be our level up. We're gonna be better trainer.
Hell yeah.
What the fuck am I talking about?
I like
The
it.
clothes maketh the man, dude.
It's like
Yeah.
the plan in his head.
Close
Yeah,
with
I
the
imagine
man.
he's like saying it quietly to himself. But it's like
That's
audible
awesome
enough for
flavor.
everyone to hear it.
Okay. I feel like Quacko's like nodding along. Like, yeah.
If Patricia's just on his head, just vibing.
Good. Shay says, all right, man, whatever. And he just like literally throws the shoes behind him.
Right, man. Whatever, dude.
He
Same.
looks at the hat that says women want me, Carvana fear me. And he looks at you and he's just like, sure, man. That's going to be 32.
Sure, man.
Sure.
I
man.
love the fact he just doesn't care.
Yeah.
Shay takes your money.
Shay is
That'd
definitely
be
like
apathetic retail worker.
yeah, he's the least
Decides
animated
he
of the
just has a little
cousins for
water,
sure.
looks at the body. Let's add a little squeak.
Sure, man.
And then he closes his eyes, goes back to napping, powering whatever this music player is, and hands you the items. And says thank you. Anyone else looking for anything for their journey?
Be like, excuse me, your name is Shay, right?
He says, "Yep, don't make me do the thing." And then he reaches back and he puts on a hat, and it says, "Welcome to Shaymart." And he's like, "Here we are in Shaymart. This is my store. My family runs the businesses all over Hoenn." And then he takes off the hat.
What
He's
the
like,
fuck?
That didn't rhyme.
That was awesome.
That should've rhymed.
I think I
That
improv
was
that.
so hard.
I got something for you.
I don't think I wrote that down.
Are you familiar with Kay of Kmart?
That's crazy,
He's
dude.
like, yeah, Kay's my cousin. And then he like gestures over to the wall, and there's a family photograph of like.
I think all of the shopkeep should have done that song. I think that's
fucking
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah.
I'm
What the
just
fuck happened
I'm
to the
picturing
song?
in my head like
Don't
going
make
to
me do
like
the thing.
Kmart
Similar to Kay's
while
face,
he
but
like
he's
has
just,
you like
moody and has long
Yeah.
hair.
pinned in like a leg lock in the rings.
Yeah.
So-
yeah, that should be the new canon for sure. So that they all do that.
We know Kay. No, sorry.
We do know Kay. We
Oh yeah,
have
this is the
to
first time the exploitation
say-
happened.
You know Pablo, right?
He kind of raises an eyebrow. He's like, "I love Pablo," and like his eyes kind of water a little bit. He's so enamored.
Everyone knows.
And he's like, "You met Pablo?" And his little blue mouse friend is fully awake and sitting at attention and is like looking directly at Elodie.
Yeah, he got kidnapped, unfortunately, but we were able to save Pablo and return him to Kay. But it was really tough. Oh my goodness, the people in around the Lily Cove area really know how to battle and steal things.
As you say kidnapped, Shay's like jaw drops and he's like, "Please tell me Pablo's okay, please."
Yeah, we saved him. We returned him to Kay.
He lets out a sigh of relief and he says, "You have no idea how grateful I am for you. I have all sorts of goods for traders that we just got a shipment in, and I'm probably not supposed to do this, but I can get you them at clearance prices, if that helps. I'm not very good at these kind of bartering things."
That does help. What do you have?
He's got all sorts of stuff. It's true that he has a fresh shipment, and he gestures. He's like, anything in the glass cabinet, let me know, and I'll see what I can do for you. What are you looking for?
Maybe just like a potion.
Yeah, he's got plenty of potions. They come in different colors.
Potion.
Is this Grace or is this
Ocean.
Potion.
Yes.
Yes.
Schmidt
Okay.
like interjects and he's like, "So I'm looking for these shoes that are like black and gold and have the word battle on them."
Are you saying this to Shay?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, man, it's the best I got. Model's pretty cool. I might get those shoes myself, actually. In response to Elodie/Grace saying potion, he's like, yeah, I can get you 3 for the price of 1.
Great, I'll do that.
Cool. He asks you for $10.
$10 is great. Here you go.
Right, and you get 3 potions. Add that to your inventory. Tell you what, I like you guys. You give me good business. I'll let you in on a little secret. He reaches under the desk where he's got the cabinet of trainer's goods, and he pulls out a special looking Pokeball. It is light blue and has little.
This didn't come up as often as I thought it would, but I like the idea of it. Just, specialty Pokeballs. Just seems neat.
Next week, they're going to have us start selling these Fortree balls. I don't know what they do, but they look pretty cool.
I think the intention is that they
I'll
worked
get you
better
guys
for certain
one for the
types.
price of, and he looks at his list and he says, for a great ball price. How's that?
I'm interested.
Yeah, I'm interested.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Did anyone
Listen
catch
to this
anything
portion,
in
manage
a city
one
specific ball? I don't remember.
Fortree ball.
He says, all right, I got to have 2 dozen for the display next week. And he is thinking about it. He says, all right, yeah, I can definitely part with 4. And if I'm letting them go at great ball price, which is about half off, that's going to be 45.
For the total?
Oh, no, for each.
Do we know what they do?
No.
Does he have any knowledge of the wear?
Yeah, he has an idea. He's like, I'm not exactly sure how they work, but apparently they work better on certain kinds of Pokemon.
I guess I'll take one.
All right. Transaction complete. You have a Fortree ball.
Nice.
I'll take one as well.
Great. Mark that off.
Cindy takes one.
Okay.
Yeah,
Those
I'll,
are
I'll
steep.
take one too.
Great. Do you say that it's steep out loud?
Yeah.
He says, hey, man, this is over half off.
Half off still steep.
He gives you a look and he just doesn't even know how to respond to that. He's like, all right, man. Yeah, you do you. As you go to exit, you smell smoke and you look over towards the sunset, and the sun, which was laying off an orange hue, is now a red haze. Roll me perception.
I rolled a nat 1.
Oh yeah, the first of many bad Quacko Packo perception
Amazing.
checks.
Yeah, all of you can roll if you want.
A classic.
I
Yeah.
got a 3 plus 1. So
I don't think this one was
Okay.
particularly impactful, but there,
No, I
when we're
didn't.
listening, I'll
That's a
try and
whole
point out
subset.
perceptions that
Look at that,
were
it's
big deals.
17,
Okay.
so.
What did Gimli get?
Yeah, we stink at perception. We're just so oblivious.
It's so funny because other roles you guys are either great or
Schmidt
pretty consistently average at, but
notices
whenever I
that
ask for a
comes up
perception
and he
check,
takes
it's
a
always a
big inhale
disaster.
and just starts coughing up smoke.
And so many of them are nat one. Like, it's not even just they're low. The amount of nat one perception checks we got is a ridiculous amount.
Yeah, and on top of that too, it's just so funny. Really basic TTRPG D&D guides and stuff will just be like,
Cindy,
you can invest in whatever kind of character you want, but never make wisdom your dump stat because you're gonna need to make a lot of perception checks, and that's important. And then fucking just always
something's not quite right.
botching these is just
Something's
silly,
amiss
pretty
here.
goofy. I don't think it's significantly
Elodie
hampered the
can hear
story
the
in any
voice
way,
of a woman
besides the fact you might have been able to catch
over
on
around
to
120.
Sam's treachery quite a bit
Y'all,
sooner. But
somebody's screaming.
I guess that's pretty significant.
go.
But I think it was fun. I think it worked.
Everyone mobs down.
I think the fact that you guys missed it is kind of fun for the story anyway. So
Okay.
Schmidt is lying on the ground coughing.
Oh man.
It is passed
She's in
out.
so much pain.
Schmidt took a lot of damage.
If I had
guys.
time and a dream, which I do not, I would go through and do the statistics of what percentage of perception checks are specifically nat ones.
yeah, I would love to see that for sure. I
'Cause
can't believe.
it's got to be a ridiculous amount. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
You
This is
run
such a long
down
episode, I can't
Route
believe I put
20 and
that
you
interstitial
see the source of
transition
the smoke,
there,
or
but
it might be the source of the smoke, but it's pretty obscured.
I guess
Where there
this
should be a
maybe
river
could have been
that
split
flows
into
DJ,
two.
I
It
cannot
is
hear you
completely
through the
dry.
mic.
That as you're walking up Route
Muted
120,
myself.
there were
My bad.
Pokemon that
I was
were
blowing my nose.
fish Pokemon that were still flopping around in the little creek. It is gone. It
Oh,
is
but now I just
dried
lost my
up.
thought.
There are just
Damn.
columns and columns of smoke
Sorry.
coming
I heard
from
you
the
talking,
roadside,
but I was like, you're
and
definitely not
you
talking in the
see
mic.
a familiar figure who is lying on the ground, holding her
That
knee,
happens.
and she's screaming. Sam is down there and appears to be injured. She's confronted with some figure that is completely covered in smoke.
I'm gonna yell out, Sam, are you okay?
She turns around. She says, "Oh, I'm so glad you're here. I really need your help. Please come down here right now." There's a
I can't believe the
growl that
Twiddle
comes
fight
from
is
the
like
smoke.
right
It's very
now.
Yeah,
right?
same. Yeah, that really
I
snuck
think
The
up.
whole is it the whole
Yeah.
combat?
Go
Jump
see?
in over. Yeah.
I don't
As
know.
you approach,
We'll find out.
This smoke is probably
I
like
think it
50 feet
is.
in front of Sam.
Is
She's
the
clutching her
next
knee
episode
and
the gym
she trips
challenge?
on a rock. She's bleeding a little bit. And
I don't
she's
know.
grasping
I don't know
at a
either.
Pokeball at her
I could
belt.
check,
She's
but I don't
like,
wanna
"Come on,
screw
come
up the
on,
thing.
Now is not the time."
Let me see.
It's the
I'll check on my
strange ball
phone.
that you don't recognize. It's not Frostbite's ball. She's trying to.
Oh yeah, the
encourage
mysterious
her
ball.
friends
Did anyone
to come
have
over,
any
but they're not
particular
coming.
thoughts about that?
What are you gonna do here?
We investigate it?
Yeah, roll me an investigation.
Hard to have any without any
Um,
leads, but
Yeah.
Oh, baby, nat
really?
20. I'm on fire.
We're just
Oh,
like,
nice.
oh,
Nat 20.
mysterious, or at least I was like, oh,
Nice.
mysterious,
Oh,
whatever. Like,
Whoa.
So
yeah, the
both
next
of you
episode
are
right on
is
the-
Cindy's
okay.
gym challenge. So this is the whole
Right,
Toidle
like,
fight.
pointless
That's crazy that
rolls
we
for
snuck that in here.
damage.
This is a long one.
The one that causes
Yeah.
me damage, I get a nat failure.
Both of you remember that on your cruise over to Lily Cove on your vacation, you were flipping through like a travel guide, and neither of you were paying like that much attention, but you remember looking at a list of powerful trainers, right? And they were featured with their ace Pokemon. One of them said recently promoted Elite 4 trainer Flannery, and accompanied by her ace Torkoal. Now, standing before you is hardly what you would call a Torkoal, but it looks not like anything
A
else.
Torkoal.
Torkoals are
Thank you,
generally pretty small in
subtitles.
size. This thing stands like 15 feet. What normally lets off like white smoke is dark black and sooty. What is generally a calm face with closed eyes is rage and open eyes that look very angry and very focused on Sam. It seems incredibly hot.
Was Flannery at the Lily Cove thing and got Pokemon stolen or something? I feel like I remember that, but I could be misremembering.
I think Flannery was there, right?
Flannery, no.
No?
Yeah, I described Flannery. Yeah, I
no,
did.
this
I did.
Torkoal looks angry.
All right.
Are we sure that's a Torkoal?
Schmidt, in between coughs, is like, I recommend we grab Sam and bail.
Yeah, I'll pick her up.
Yeah, I don't know if we can face this, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I'm gonna scoop her up and then try to get out.
Okay. Yeah.
Strike check. 16.
Okay. Yeah, that's sufficient to pick up Sam, and you're starting to run. Okay.
Yeah, we out of here.
Okay.
Yeah, we out.
You're running. The Torkoal, or so it seems, lets out a groan.
torque goal.
Yeah.
And it can't move that fast.
That's not what Torkoal sounds.
But as it does it, the jungle foliage that is on either side of the riverbank ignites, and it feels
Oh, shit.
a lot hotter now.
Oh my god.
Oh, God.
And he very slowly chases after you, but it's not very fast. Is it your intention?
It's like Scooby-Doo scene.
Is it what's your plan right now with Sam in Gimli's arms?
I mean, I think we're just trying to head back to town, right?
Let the forest burn.
I mean,
But
do
if
we
this
have
thing gets
leads?
into town,
That's true.
And other people in town can help us.
I mean, we have to get people in town to help us stop the thing, right?
yes, but what if this thing reaches the people that are already in town?
The town is made out of trees, friends.
Yeah.
But-
That was, in fact,
Yeah,
the
but what are we
point,
gonna do, hide
Elodie,
it away? Like,
of the
y'all run
combat
back
being
while I get
threatening.
injured
Yeah.
person out?
Yeah.
Like, what do you want to do?
Thank you for
He's
landing
the
on
It
it.
leader.
also as a distraction, and then he runs out with Patricia and Quacko to
Ooh.
initiate battle. He just said that like he needs to be battling with Patricia,
Cool.
so he's like, now's the time.
What's the plan for the rest of you?
You're gonna
Guess
battle. You're
I'll-
not gonna
That would have set a way different tone for the campaign if
Or, like,
this
run
combat
towards
failed
her?
and Fortree burned down.
No,
Like,
no,
holy
So
shit.
true.
It could have happened,
So y'all
but
can-
no, you guys
Cindy, you
guys
play with
managed.
Cindy will probably go fight it too, because my Soli has flash fire, so it doesn't take damage from fire moves.
Mm.
So Soli's already out, ready to go.
Trying to get Sam to safety, and I'll be back.
All right, Elodie.
I'll stay and fight.
Okay, it's initiative time. Cool. So Schmidt gets to go first to deal with this.
Oh, I just
Torkoal.
cut those out entirely.
I'm
Does
gonna
Kira
use
cut those out
Patricia.
entirely?
I'm
I
gonna
honestly don't
Patricia
know.
Use Patricia's mystery move.
There's
Oh,
no
okay,
initiative
yeah,
rolls.
Roll a nature.
13.
Patricia starts like flapping very intently. Seems like it has something on the mind, something that is within her primal memory. Not perfectly. It seems like the smoke is a little distracting. Patricia focuses her energy, a little distracted by the smoke, but she manages to get a bonus. Her next attack has advantage.
Am I like in front of this thing already, or?
Yeah, you're within 30 feet of it.
I just have Quacko getting a defensive position. Quacko will be the back line. I'm gonna start like attacking with Patricia, and then I'll be like, Quacko, draw your sword, and then Quacko's like ready on the sideline.
Great.
Is that the fourth draw your sword in this episode?
Cindy.
Yeah, he never actually put it away.
All
Yeah.
right, so I'll probably send Solian with a quick attack, unless normal is not so good.
Okay, well, there's
Against
only one way to
fire.
find out.
Okay.
Okay, roll to hit.
There's that type chart confidence I
no.
expect from Melissa.
I got a 6.
A 6.
None. Still none.
Sully
Yes.
dashes forward, goes to give this giant Torkoal a big old smack. Seems to just kind of glance off of Torkoal's shell. It's really smoky, it's really hot, but Sully seems to be very confident and not too perturbed by these conditions. Elodie, show me what you got.
Gosh, having
Yeah,
one Pokemon in one
I
action
have
feels so different. It
cabbage
made sense for the
and
beginning, but
sweet
like, imagine how combat would feel now. Like,
Yeah.
Schmidt's turn was
charisma.
using Dragon Dance, and that's it, you know? That's
Manages to
crazy.
pass. It's a 17.
Yeah.
Ugh.
It's not too shocking though, because you get
Yucky.
higher levels. You have
Yeah,
more
and we were still
combat
figuring it
decisions to
out.
make.
And,
All this
yeah.
smoke just
Yeah, we're
permeates
still learning the system.
No, it makes sense at the
Torkoal
time, but
doesn't
in
smell it 'cause it's already
compared to where we're
consumed.
at now with the
Yeah, in
finale,
retrospect,
it's
you're like,
like,
whoa.
whoa,
Yeah.
so little to do.
This Torkoal eyes the competition in front of it. And
Well, it's just like the start of every
it's got
adventure.
its
Use
eyes on
tackle.
fire.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
out for blood, apparently. It lowers its head, and out of its back comes plumes and plumes and plumes of more dense smoke than has been generally been coming out of its shell. It's going to request a Constitution save from all the Pokemon.
2.
Wow, so formal.
30-20.
Yeah, please,
Quacko
would you
got
give me a
13,
Constitution
Patricia rolled
save?
a 6.
Well, could you
Patricia
give me a
rolled a 6.
Constitution
Every
save?
Pokemon that rolled higher than a 14 takes 3 damage, 3 poison damage.
14 con save's a little demanding
Lower than a
for
14.
so early in the campaign.
Yeah, 14 con's pretty high this early, but
Yeah.
I guess the
And
intention was
if
like,
you
it-
saved
it's
by
gonna
less
happen,
than
bro.
5,
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
You have disadvantage on pretty much everything, and you're going to take 2 damage at the end of your turn. Okay, we're going to check in with Sam and Gimli. Sam is
Gambling.
She's very
Gambling.
upset. She's like, I can't use
With
Frost
Sam and
Fire. It's
gambling.
always there for me, but it's just too hot. I have Cause with me, but he won't listen. He won't listen.
Ah, cause name drop.
You have a ladder.
Yo,
you climb
so
to
early?
get
That's
on the
crazy.
walkway,
Yeah.
Or you can charge through the foliage, the thick jungle foliage, to get to the Pokemon Center. I'm assuming that's where you're going for medical attention.
Yeah. Ladder seems more like a dex where charging through the foliage is probably more my style. So
Okay. Yeah, give me a strength check.
18.
Yeah, that's enough. You trudge your way through the foliage. You manage to get just like about where the gym is. It looks like there's one more. You're in a clearing in front of the gym. There's going to be another patch of foliage to charge through, or you can take the ladder. But
Okay.
since these
Oh, that's
are
extra.
rounds of like 6 seconds or so, we're going to check in with Schmidt.
Okay. I think I'm just gonna peck.
Okay, go for it.
13 to hit.
Okay, that is not quite enough for Torkoal's
Oh my
steady
God.
shell.
Damn.
Swablu flies in, and again, the smoke is just really overbearing.
This is
The
a hard
smoke
encounter,
just doesn't seem to
actually.
sit well.
Yeah, the AC on
Patricia
Torkoal,
goes for the pack,
actually
just misses.
crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense he's a turtle, but it should have been easier because he's like big or something. There's a way to justify it being easier. But
He's
what
still,
the
like,
heck,
steadily
dude?
moving.
Yeah.
Well, we
And-
also weren't creative enough to like target certain parts and like talk
Yeah.
about that type of stuff because we were new to the system. So
Yeah,
it's
I
like
guess
we're not
so,
making
yeah.
more sound combat decisions. It's fine.
It worked out. You ended up winning.
It worked out. Right.
But listening now, I'm like, this is
I mean, I
and
could
like an
pull it
AOE
back
that
in
poisons
and
everything if you fail a
cookie
14 con.
Okay.
That's screwed up, dude.
Yeah, that is pretty aggressive.
Yeah, that's not a session 3 boss. That's like
Switching
pretty
as an
crazy.
action,
I was
generally,
going a little hard, I
in, like,
think.
trainer battles, I would not mind you doing this. I think this is appropriate in this high stake situation.
So like as
Especially
Cookie's, like,
because I
leading
had
the
decided
Pokemon
early on that I
level,
wanted to
Okay.
remove or not remove, but like unify bonuses for saves to be the same as
I
checks.
got a
Just to keep
4.
things simpler because there was so much complication coming from everywhere else. And my logic was like, oh, I'll just decrease the DCs for like attack saves and stuff to make it more balanced. And then I gave you a DC 14 con. It's like, what the fuck?
Any other things you'd
Should have
like to
been
do?
9, I think. I think if I was running this now, it
Okay.
would have been 9.
Cry. Is that a bonus? Can I use cry?
Yeah,
as
9,
a
10
bonus
seems pretty
action?
reasonable.
Crying is a
Yeah.
bonus action.
Just for where we're at in the
One,
game.
two.
14.
Melody,
Yikes.
it's on
Very
you.
distraught.
Right. If I were to use like
Elodie, it's on
Aromatic
YouTube.
Mist or Sweet Scent to try and clear the smoke, but I
It
feel like
is.
that
It's true.
wouldn't really work.
I can't believe it.
Thank you,
Um,
captions.
You can always like it's a Pokemon battle, right? But it's always D&D too. So if
Yeah.
there's something that you want to do that's outside of the constraints of your moves, you can try it. You know, just let me know what it is.
Use Aromatic Mist for our allies here, so that will add 1d4.
Forgot about that
on the
move.
Saving throw for 1 minute.
Up next, it's the baddie. He leans back, takes a big.
Is that the first drop of baddie? Is that the first time I said
kinda
baddie?
like some of it tucks back into Torkoal's body.
Ooh,
then
Torkoal's
all
a
of it
baddie.
It's true.
Torkoal's a baddie.
blast in to target all the Pokemon. The humans are going to get a little hot too, but you're not going to take damage from this. Everyone needs to make a dexterity save. You
Don't forget,
have
add-
a D4 from Aromatic Mist.
Add the D4.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. I got another nat 20. What is the what
12?
save is this again?
Dex.
Patricia has a dirty 22.
Okay.
Quacko has a what's 13.
Anyone who got a 12 or higher is going to take 9 damage. 9 fire damage.
For a pass save? I'm crazy. I don't like listening to
Yes,
this.
correct. So we can have that.
Like, what is wrong with me?
Yeah, what was I
Less than-
thinking?
or
I
11 or
mean,
lower.
Holy.
These mons are still level 1, right? So they have like 15
Standard
HP or
gameplay.
something, right?
Are you going to charge through this jungle? Or are you
Dude,
going to
that's
try and
that's
run over the top?
crazy. To take 9 on a
You're like, oh, I'm
pass
gonna
save.
kill these fools.
Yeah, dude. This really could have ended
Weird.
with
Yeah,
4
pretty
tree
much,
burning
yeah.
down.
This
What
could
the
have been a
hell?
As you
TPK.
charge through
Yeah.
perfect foliage, Sam looks at you
My
and just says,
insolence.
"I know
Imagine
what
the
it is. I
campaign
know
ended
what it is.
here.
I know
Yeah,
how
what the
to
hell?
Sorry, you guys.
You're gonna have to get back.
Hopefully I gave this boss like
down
10 HP or
hold on,
something.
actually. Let's go
Hey
to
guys,
full
remember that
stop.
time that
We'll
Rich
be
felt
there in a
guilty
second.
about PvP and then he actually like did this
Sam
fucking
says,
encounter?
I know what's going on. Down on its belly.
Man.
It all
There's
kind of
something there. It's a
all's
device,
coming
it's like a
together.
syringe. It's
Yeah.
causing Torkoal
I
to
was
act
trying
up.
shit
You have to
out.
go
That's
there
all right.
and get
Yeah,
this
no,
syringe out of
that's
its belly.
totally reasonable.
Absolutely.
I didn't at the time too. I didn't
So
think it
you
was
run
on the
towards
things that were
Torkoal
happening
Center.
were
Next
unreasonable.
turn,
Like
Yeah.
none of us knew any
arrive.
better.
Yeah.
Like you're very much taking the
So,
responsibility
it's
of it.
back
But
up
be
to
like,
threat.
that seems
It is
aggressive. Like you're just
I
like,
guess
Yeah.
I'll just go for
sounds
safe
good.
anyway.
Yeah.
9 damage. Yikes. All right, moving on.
Yeah.
It's a-
Thank you guys for
pretty
being so
regular
patient
set.
with that.
Yeah.
Holy
plus
moly.
Charisma.
Oh, it's pretty low.
Patricia's charisma is -1. Oh, no.
Oh no. Yeah.
So
um,
7, I guess.
Yep. We'll see.
For
And
what's worth,
that's
Swablu
a
generally does have good charisma, but I think the
Torkoal.
nature
Yo!
that was
Is
rolled
sleep
was
now.
minus charisma.
Patricia, you beautiful songstress.
I think this is our first time that we've encountered sleep, so let me just explain. For the next 3 turns, next 3 rounds of combat, Torkoal is going to be asleep. Can't do anything. If you attack it with a saving throw, it's at disadvantage. When it is Torkoal's turn, there's a chance that he will break out of sleep. All right, Cindy, you got a sleeping behemoth in front of you. It's still spewing smoke.
I
and
guess
it's
we didn't
still
implement
very
the
hot,
on
but it
damage
is-
chance to
it
wake
was
up
lulled to sleep.
also,
We're gonna bubble again.
which
Okay,
mechanically
you
might
have
be for the
30
best that we
yeah, you
didn't,
have
but also
advantage on
flavor
this
wise, it
hit.
makes sense that if you take damage, you have a chance to wake
Okay,
up.
well, my
But
first roll was an 18, and I have a +2,
Okay.
so a dirty 20.
You connect.
We'll see. I got an 18 again. So.
Okay. Roll me the damage.
I got a 1.
You got a 1.
Oh, but
it
it's
goes
a
without
water
saying, but I'm
move.
still gonna
It is a
say
water move.
these combats
You
are
are
so
also
much
in
more
track,
interesting to track
so it
when
is
you're not
sleep.
in them. Because you can actually follow
The
everything. Where
whole-
like when you're in
One
them
damn
or you're
damage.
running the
Damage,
enemies, you're like
damage,
thinking
damage.
ahead
He dealt
always.
some damage.
You know?
Let's see
And now that we're
Yeah.
just listening, I'm like, oh,
What
like
was
this
it
is
we
like
got?
telling a story.
The answer is no. Elodie.
Wait, does it try to make an attempt to wake up with every hit?
Yes, every time it takes
Okay,
damage.
so we did do that. Okay.
Ah.
And at the end of each of its turns.
I feel like that's way like that's actually more balanced than the sleep mechanic in
It
Pokemon.
also just makes more sense. Yeah.
Oh, crazy.
It's a
That's how, like,
combination of
RPG
Pokemon
I actually had the
and
same
D&D.
thought.
Yeah,
I'm like,
exactly.
man, if only they did
If
this
you
in
get
the
something
actual
asleep,
game,
it's
huh?
probably gonna
Yeah.
wake up.
It would still
Yeah.
be powerful effects, but it'd
Can
just
I
be a lot more
use-
balanced.
Right.
Tackle this time. 11.
Unfortunately,
No
it's just so
command.
hazy and so hot. As is this cabbage or is this
This is cabbage,
Yeah.
yes.
cabbage rolls forward or rolls floats forward, goes for the tackle.
Cabbage rolling on the
And
ground
it's
for a
too- it's
tackle.
Too smoky.
Hell yeah.
That poison damage is really scary for Cabbage, unfortunately.
Could we just check around, see if maybe our friend Gimli is on his way back yet?
Just like you want to look around the corner.
Yeah.
You can roll for that.
11.
You see Gimli-shaped holes in the jungle, like he just charged.
Gimli shaped holes in the jungle.
That's pretty sick.
Or Sam.
Okay, but
It is
at
really
least they're
good.
probably safe.
Yeah.
I'm gonna relay this fact to our friends.
Okay. We're going down to Torkel's turn. He's gonna try and wake up, and he gets a crit. He's awake. He
Oh
has
my
no action,
god.
But he spends his
This is my
action
first.
standing up, and he looks at you, and he goes,
This might come up again in the future, but this is my first listen back where I'm like, this
and
is fucked up.
He is stepping forward another 5 feet.
The sleep did nothing.
He is
Like literally nothing.
60
That's
feet
wow.
Torture City.
I did 1 damage.
You
That's
arrive
it.
at the Pokemon Center. What do you say?
She needs treatment now, but I have to rush back. There's something dangerous happening in the woods.
Okay, so you're just gonna drop her off there and see what happens.
Yeah. There
Okay.
you go.
Sam is totally on board with this. Sam is like, "Thank you. I'll be fine." The nurse rushes forward. This is not like a human center, but like they have bandages, so it'll be fine. They can put her in a sling, whatever she needs, and you're gonna run on back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you've carved out a path for yourself, so you don't really like need to make any rolls to get through the foliage. However, you can roll a d20 and see if you can dash, since you are unburdened. So just roll athletics.
Oh, 25.
Yeah. Okay. So you clear the ground that you did carrying Sam twice as fast. Next round, you will be in combat.
Nice.
Schmidt, what are you doing?
He's within 30 feet, right? You said like 25 of me.
Mm-hmm. Well, 20 now because he just walked forward.
I'm gonna have Quacko take up a defensive position, and by that I mean just hold his sword at him, or at the Torkel.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna have Patricia sing again.
Okay. That's 7 DC. Will it work twice in a row?
Will it work? Come on, Patricia, you beautiful songstress.
Oh, he got a 1. What?
Yes. Yes.
That's insane.
Let's go, Patricia.
That's so dumb. Okay. Yeah.
We're broken.
In hindsight, no.
what-
I think the players
is
need all the
there-
help they can get here.
What does the song sound
Steve
like?
Spam.
Can you
Like,
describe
oh, can't
it?
believe I didn't murder all of you.
It's the most beautiful melody you've ever heard in your life. Actually, no. Patricia's singing Motley Crue.
Let's go.
Let's go. Yeah. Patricia
That's not
sings.
Patricia's song.
Patricia sings the Swablu version of Motley Crue, and Torkel falls asleep again. The smoke and heat seems to quiet down a little bit, but it's still blazing hot. Nicely done, Sandy. What are you doing?
Let's go for another bubble. Oh no.
What?
We got 6.
Yeah, it's so
Second.
hot. It's crazy. Even when Torkel's sleeping, Cookie shoots out some bubbles very confidently this time, but they just evaporate before they make contact.
For the record, all of these attacks should have advantage. I don't think I was doing that.
Gilly panting.
I
With
did the
the-
first
to the bar.
time.
Yeah, but with being asleep and stuff.
Guys,
I think I said just
something really
moves with
important.
saves, but
This
no,
giant
any
turtle.
move.
It's got a little
Should have
thing on
advantage.
its belly.
IMO.
We gotta get it off. It's making it
You
big.
gotta flip it like a turtle.
Flip it like a turtle. So I can't see it. I guess I could roll a perception to see if I could see it. But like see what's protruding. Because I was like, let's go for the bowl. I'm like, I don't even know what I'm aiming for
Mm-hmm.
to try to pull it off. So I guess I'll have to try to go for a perception to see if we can see underneath the Torkel.
Roll it.
5.
5. The way that Torkel is sleeping, it's like its legs, like it was standing, and then its legs splayed out. So it's just on its belly. You can't see anything down there.
Okay.
Elodie.
Okay. All right. How the frick are we gonna flip this thing over?
Everybody
Um,
lift.
It's super hot though.
I got Baker arms. I'm ready to go.
Baker arms.
That's the new ability introduced in 5e.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously.
Baker arms.
See, I don't know. There's things like I'm like I don't know if I should try if this is like a stretch, but I was thinking of like trying to use like sweet scent or something to like lull it in its sleep. Is that like a stretch?
I'm gonna send you something.
Okay.
It's a treat.
What did I send?
Say it's a result of your time at the Rite of Learning. How's
I guess
that?
we'll find out.
Oh my gosh. Oh, this is great. All right. Oh, we're definitely using this. Okay, so this is a bonus action.
Mhm.
So we're gonna do some senspiration.
Great.
Yeah.
Inspiration.
Yo, before it was called Elity's party
Didn't we
time.
give this to
I think we wanted to like
Trevor
divine it
for
away
the
from
Run
just
and
being
River
smell,
Odyssey?
but either way, it's still good. I don't know.
Okay.
I
Well,
love
To make this
inspiration.
clear,
It's so
this
good.
is a d6 of inspiration that you can use within the next 10 minutes. You can add a d6 to any of your rolls.
after the roll, right?
But it could be after
I'd
the
like
roll,
to
but it has to
add-
be before it's declared. So
Before
you
it's
could say the
declared, right.
number, then really quickly say, "I want inspiration."
And with the
New 5e doesn't do
my
that, and I think New 5e is
we're
better
gonna
for it.
go for is the minute up on the aromatic mist? I doubt it, right?
No,
'Cause
it's
these are
not.
seconds.
With New
Yeah,
5e,
because
you
you have
like
6
get
second
your
rounds.
inspiration charge,
I guess we'll just go
and
for like
then
a
when you
path
fail a save, you can
towards
choose to
one
use
of
your
his, like,
inspiration,
legs,
which is
I
just so much
guess?
cleaner
Okay.
and better.
Is this like an
But
attack,
here we
or
are.
is this like you're trying to move it?
Yeah, trying to like move its leg out of the way,
Okay.
I guess.
You don't have to roll a tackle. You can roll me based on how you want to describe it, a strength or dexterity.
Probably more of a dexterity.
Okay.
Okay, that was a 10.
Unfortunately, the Torkoal leg is just too big, too heavy, too hot to be reckoned with at this moment. And Torkoal's going to see if it wakes up, and it does. Torkoal stands up, lets out a groan, has had enough with these shenanigans, and steps 5 feet closer, 55 feet until Fortree City.
So the thing on its belly needs to be destroyed, or it's like a button?
There's something.
If I investigate this, would that be my action for the turn?
Nope.
That's a dirty 22.
So you can see in the center of Torkoal's belly, there is some sort of like black tube sticking out. It's coming at like a diagonal angle. It seems like it might have like gotten squished that way when it slept on its belly. And it seems to have some sort of insignia or marking on it.
Okay. Have I winged that this is like a switch or something, or
Not quite. You can tell
be
that part
destroyed?
of it is sticking out, and then part of it is inside of Torkoal's belly.
what if I had Quacko like try to slide under there and then hit the thing out of its belly with his sword?
That sounds epic. You should try it.
Okay. Oh, Quacko, you're a monster. That's also a dirty 22.
Dirty 22. What's the natural roll?
19.
You know, with your leak, that means it's a crit, right?
Oh, that is a crit. Yo.
You want to describe
forget
this epic maneuver to remove this device from Torkoal's belly?
Quacko does like a Mega Man slide. You know, like he gets like a running start and then he like slides on his feet down there and he has like the leak in hand and then he just like smacks the belly of the Torkoal and then whatever thing just pops out.
All right. Yeah, you all witness something super cool that you would expect to see from like the leader of a team. It is awesome. You swear that you still hear bits of the song that Patricia was singing just earlier as like a little anthem for Quacko.
I imagine Patricia's like still humming it a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So as Farfetch slides out from the other side of the Torkoal, this black device is removed from its belly. Its eyes kind of roll into the back of its head, and it collapses onto its sides. As it does that, it seems like a bunch of energy is just streaming out into the air from Torkoal's body.
Okay, I
from its face,
suppose
from the holes in its
with
shell,
the
and it pierces
MacGuffin
inside.
to
It
auto end the
shrinks and it
combat,
shrinks, and it becomes
maybe
more
it
or less
was
the size of a
fine
normal
to
Torkoal.
have it that hard,
It
but that
is
was, I don't know.
cocked. It's
I don't
knocked
know.
out. The heat in the surrounding
Listen,
area
Rich, we had no
disappears,
complaints.
smoke
Everything was fine.
blows away in the
I'm
wind.
judging
This
myself
might
here.
be too
Yes.
critical.
No, I
Yeah.
appreciate it. I
There's no
appreciate
longer
it.
a source of heat. As the sun has set even more during this battle, about another hour later, it's actually starting to feel kind of chilly, and you can see clouds rolling in from the north.
Can we take it to the Pokemon Center
can
to
I-
make
can I-
it feel
Can I
better?
pick it up and bring it to the Poke Center?
You can do whatever you want. Let me know what you want to do.
You can do whatever you want.
I'm gonna scoop it.
You do whatever you want.
Scoop
Bring
it?
him back.
It's true.
Yeah, it's still very warm.
Roll to
Keep
pick
in
it
mind
up.
though, you could probably bring it to the Weather Institute and make bank.
Right, but he looks like nice.
Well,
innocent
right now
friendo.
we're getting it to the Pokemon
I'm just saying.
Center.
I'm just saying. Yeah,
and-
of course, of course.
Is that device still on the ground or did it?
It's on the ground. It's there.
We
I
should
would
bring
like
that.
to investigate
Y'all
that
almost didn't
device.
pick it up.
Roll me
Crazy.
investigation.
That's nat 1.
Nat 1.
No, no.
You have no idea.
Schmidt's like
Yeah.
feeling
can
himself
describe it.
of like like Quacko's like really cool and he's yes, Schmidt pack best team.
Great.
He's just like feeling himself.
That's great.
I rolled the strength to pick up the Torkoal to carry it, and I got 24. So
Yeah, you're fine. You can honestly carry it on your shoulder.
yeah.
It's with the dad hat. holding the Torkoal like a boss.
Right. That's right.
Cindy's just like, I vote we name our team the Quacko Pack.
The Quacko Packo!
The
Little Quacko Packo.
Instead of the Schmidt Pack, because
Oh, kinda
Quacko.
That's
is
crazy.
insane.
There it is.
The birth of the Quacko Packo.
Yeah. I forgot
You
that's
all
what
march
it
back
was.
there, carrying the Torkoal. The
I didn't know
knight
which battle,
is
but I
holding
knew it was
much
one of
older
them where
than
like
before.
Quacko was amazing. It was
Yeah.
like, well,
Quacko is
why
holding
are we the
a
Schmidt Pack? We should be
as
the
well as the
Quacko
strange
Pack,
device
and
that
then
was on the
Quacko
ground.
Packo.
Yeah, Quacko ended
So,
like an impossible
see
combat,
Sam,
which is pretty
she's
good.
got a little brace on her leg. She's wearing like a boot, and she's been given a crutch. And she walks and she says, "You're okay. You're okay. How did it go?"
Well, we stopped him. Points a thing over my shoulder. Hey, this guy needs a good fixer up. Let me know when he wakes up.
I think we all need a little fixer up.
Picture,
Yeah.
yeah.
Patricia
Yeah,
is bloodied.
All right.
Yeah.
Nurse
Patricia
Joy,
was such a trooper that game.
Nurse Joy says, "Oh, great. I will take your Pokemon." And she collects all your Pokemon. Farfetch hands you
That's sick.
the device because it shouldn't be healed. It shouldn't take that in with it. Would you like to roll
Okay.
again on it? Or
Roll
offer it to someone
investigation,
else to look at and be like, "Can you tell what this thing is?" Yeah.
I'll take a look at it.
Oh, I just rolled a 16.
But,
So
Let's get Elodie's roll too, just cause.
okay, okay,
no,
okay.
it's okay. No, I
Combine our
rolled a
rolls.
nat one.
Oh, okay.
Quincy and I are connected tonight, I guess.
Do you want to describe your nat one, like before Schmidt takes a look at it? Like what?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna look at it and be like, wow, that's a thing for sure.
That's definitely it.
For sure.
Look at that
That's
thing.
what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, check that thing out.
That's wow.
That's
Schmidt,
awesome.
Dirty 20 total,
Yeah.
by the way.
You take a look at this thing. It's an interesting device. There's a big, thick, like needle on one side. It's clearly a syringe, and then the part where there would be a vial or something is like an obsidian black container. There are 3 letters in yellow text printed on the side. They are NRG. Sam looks at the group.
Yo.
And she says, "It's been a big day. We should probably get some rest. And unless there's anything you want to say or check, that's where we'll call the session."
Wow.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode.
So
of
much plot in
Dunsparce
that
and
one.
Drampa. If you're enjoying the series, be sure
Holy
to
moly.
Yeah, it was a pretty
Yeah.
heavy episode.
Yeah.
I realized the early episodes are really plot heavy.
Yeah, they're dense.
Now we spend 2 hours fucking around.
Yeah.
Early on, we were
I
getting
never
shit
really thought
done.
about it. But it,
Yeah.
while playing it, it feels like that was like several episodes like at once. So it's like,
Right.
wow, we just like lored up like crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it flies by when you're playing it for sure.
I'm curious
Is that
how
why we spent 20 episodes at sea?
All right, Duford, yeah.
It's like these ones are so dense, and then like
We'll see you next Tuesday.
Wow. Is there a blooper on this one?
What kind of battle skills would you like this Elodie? No, Elodie.
Oh yeah.
What kind of battle skills would you
I
like
get
this?
the battle-
Yeah, no, I mean maybe. He's like, "Would you like to train?" And he gestures over to like a deadlift bench. Please.
Classic.
Hell yeah.
He does-
Wow. That was really enlightening, honestly. Like, of course, the first 2 episodes were good too, but this one was like, you guys probably played for like 4 hours, which I guess for other D&D tables is pretty normal, but for us, that's pretty long. And there's a lot of shit in there. That's crazy. A lot of exposition. Maybe that's why it's the most listened to, is because people know that a bunch of stuff was revealed and they go back and check it out.
Yeah, they go back and check everything. Yeah, that's very possible.
It could be. Anywho, thank you for listening, and hopefully, I don't know what schedule we're gonna release these at. I have no clue, but we will see you for the next one. Goodbye.